Chapter 457. After thinking for a while, Tang Ao took back the cold chi from the wolf's body. After Tang Ao took back the cold chi, the wolf's body flashed immediately, increasing the distance between it and Tang Ao. It looked at Tang Ao very cautiously. When Tang Ao saw the three-tailed snow wolf secretly gathering its strength, he naturally smiled. I let you out because I wanted you to protect Sister Su Ning, not to fight against me. Although the three-tailed snow wolf was young, it was very intelligent. After hearing Tang Ao's words, the three-tailed snow wolf immediately said, Why should I listen to you now? There are so many fanged vipers here, it won't be easy for you to leave. As for your sister Su, she would not be able to leave this place at all. After hearing the wolf's words, Tang Ao did not say anything to refute, because under Tang Ao's perception, he could feel a horrifying Sea of Souls Realm Level 4 aura slowly approaching. Soon, Tang Ao saw the source of this aura clearly. It was a Sea of Souls Realm Level 4 silver-tooth poisonous snake. After the silver fang venomous snake appeared, its gaze locked onto the three-tailed snow wolf. Human warrior, this is a private matter between me and the wolf. As long as you do not interfere, I can make an exception and let you leave this place. The snake's words were very tempting, but Tang Ao knew that it did not want to let him go at all. Although the snake's killing intent was all on the wolf, Tang Ao could feel the brutality, cunning, and killing intent from its eyes. This kind of beast, once it was tricked by it, it would be beyond redemption. Tang Ao could see through the snake's intention, but Su Ning and the wolf could not. The wolf had purposely led Tang Ao to the snake's territory, wanting Tang Ao to have a fight with the snake. The three-tailed snow wolf had purposely lured Tang Ao to the venomous fanged snake's territory so that Tang Ao could fight to the death with the venomous fanged snake. On the other hand, the three-tailed snow wolf took the opportunity to shake off Tang Ao's black cold aura and escape. However, the three-tailed snow wolf never expected that Tang Ao would actually take the initiative to let it go when he encountered the fanged vipers. However, the three-tailed snow wolf only hesitated for a second before deciding not to participate in the battle. While Tang Ao was fighting with the fanged vipers, he looked for an opportunity to escape. However, to the three-tailed snow wolf's surprise, the silver-toothed venomous snake that had disappeared for a long time had reappeared. Not only that, but the fanged viper had put on such a big show today, as if it was targeted at him. When the three-tailed snow wolf heard the silver fang venomous snake's words, it couldn't help but worry. She was only at the third layer of the Sea of Souls realm, and the silver-toothed viper was a beast at the fourth layer of the Sea of Souls realm. Plus, with the help of so many fanged vipers, she was definitely not the snake's opponent. Last time, the three-tailed snow wolf and her sister had worked together to injure the silver-toothed viper, but her sister had also been bitten by the snake and was in grave danger. These days, she had been hunting fanged vipers in this forest to obtain snake gallbladders to suppress the poison. However, this time, the fanged viper that she had hunted had been blasted into pieces by Tang Ao, so naturally, the snake gallbladders were gone. Chapter 458. After thinking for a moment, the three-tailed snow wolf decisively said, Tang Ao, I am willing to sign a spiritual beast contract with your junior sister, but you have to help me save my sister. Although the three-tailed snow wolf had yet to transform, its intelligence was not something that Tang Hor could compare to. Now that the three-tailed snow wolf was surrounded by so many fanged venomous snakes and silver fang venomous snakes, it would be difficult for it to survive. However, she did not ask Tang Ao to help her fight against the silver fang venomous snake. Instead, she promised Tang Ao that he would sign a spiritual beast contract with Su Ning. Since they were going to sign a spiritual beast contract, Tang Ao had to ensure her safety. In such a dangerous situation, the three-tailed snow wolf was able to think of this. It was clear that its intelligence was extraordinary. While ensuring her safety, it also asked Tang Ao to save her sister. It could be said that this was a plan that killed two birds with one stone. In such a critical situation, even a human cultivator might not be able to think of such a method. However, the three-tailed snow wolf, a monstrous beast that had yet to transform, had actually thought of such a method. If this matter were to spread, who knew how many people would be ashamed? Tang Ao nodded. Although he knew that he had been tricked by the three-tailed snow wolf, Tang Ao was still very fond of such a smart demonic beast. At the same time, Tang Ao was secretly lamenting in his heart. They were both demonic beasts, but why was Tang Hua so stupid? Although she was cute and adorable, Tang Ao still hoped that Tang Hua's intelligence would improve. The three-tailed snow wolf did not think that Tang Ao would agree to her request so easily. It was overjoyed. At the same time, the three-tailed snow wolf despised him in its heart. It was said that humans were smart and cunning, but they were still being played by it. Thinking of this, the three-tailed snow wolf looked up at Su Ning. The three-tailed snow wolf did not reject Su Ning. Therefore, if Tang Ao could really save her sister, the three-tailed snow wolf would not mind signing a spiritual beast contract with Su Ning. After Tang Ao agreed to help, the three-tailed snow wolf became more confident. The three-tailed snow wolf was a peak-level Sea of Souls realm beast, but with her power, she was still caught off guard by Tang Ao's black cold chi attack. This meant that the human warrior in front of him, whose true strength could not be seen through, was extremely powerful. The three-tailed snow wolf and the silver-toothed viper could be said to be mortal enemies. In this forest, there were originally 2 silver-toothed vipers and 3 one-tailed snow wolves. But now, only a silver-fang viper, a 3-tailed snow wolf, and a 2-tailed snow wolf were left. There were many demonic beasts in this forest, but the 3-tailed snow wolf and the silver-toothed venomous snake did not see eye to eye. When the 3 sisters were still around, they were always suppressing the 2 silver-fang vipers. However, ever since their elder sister perished together with a silver-fang viper, the 3-tailed snow wolf and their younger sister were no longer a match for the remaining silver-fang viper. This time, without Tang Ao by her side, the 3-tailed snow wolf felt that she would definitely not be able to escape this place. Even though Tang Ao had agreed to help her fight against the silver-toothed venomous snake, the 3-tailed snow wolf was still a bit worried. Just as the 3-tailed snow wolf was a bit worried, a warm hand suddenly patted her head. Su Ning half-squatted beside the 3-tailed snow wolf and said softly, "With senior brother Tang Ao here, everything will be fine. Don't be afraid." Su Ning even gave the 3-tailed snow wolf a sweet smile. Seeing the smile on Su Ning's face, the 3-tailed snow wolf was a bit dazed, as if she was looking at her deceased elder sister. Chapter 459. However, at that moment, Tang Ao was not alone. Behind Tang Ao was Su Ning, who was at the 3rd level of the Origin Martial Realm. Su Ning's power was really too low. Tang Ao wished that he could find another spirit immortal grass so that Su Ning's power could increase by leaps and bounds. However, Tang Ao also knew that natural spirit medicines like the spirit immortal grass could only be found by luck. Even in the whole black-yellow continent, the spirit immortal grass was something that could not be found in the market. Although there were countless natural treasures in the underworld Emperor's secret realm, the spirit immortal grass that Lu Hanxiu had eaten could very well be one of a kind. After deciding to help the 3-tailed snow wolf, Tang Ao's soul power spread out in all directions like a tide. Facing this many snakes and a 4th-level Sea of Souls realm silver-tooth venomous snake, Tang Ao did not dare to be careless. In this kind of situation, he had to go all out and finish the battle as soon as possible. There were just too many of these snakes, and the longer it dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for Tang Ao. With that thought in mind, Tang Ao's Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit instantly attached to his body, and the Jade Bone Life Spirit inside Tang Ao's body was also pushed to the extreme. The Jade Bone Life Spirit's light green light spots swam around Tang Ao's body, and the speed of the spirit power inside Tang Ao's body had also reached an extremely horrifying speed. Brat, I will tell you one last time. What happened today has nothing to do with you. I only want to keep this three-tailed snow wolf. Don't be a busybody. Although the silver-toothed venomous snake was at the peak of the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm, because of Tang Ao's hidden jade body, it could not sense Tang Ao's real power. However, the silver-toothed venomous snake knew that the human warrior in front of it would not be easy to deal with. From Tang Ao's body, the silver-toothed venomous snake could feel the threat of death, which meant that Tang Ao had the power to threaten its life. This silver fang viper hadn't lived for more than 10,000 years, but it still had the memories of its ancestors. Therefore, he knew that the place he was living in was called the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm. Every 10,000 years, the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm would connect to the outside world. At this time, a group of extremely powerful human warriors would come from the outside world. The human in front of him was obviously one of these extremely powerful human warriors. In the beginning, the Silver Fang Viper had no intention of letting Tang Ao leave. However, after Tang Ao revealed the 24th Firmament Battle Sage Bone Life Soul, the Silver Fang Venomous Snake decided not to stop Tang Ao from leaving. The silver-toothed venomous snake's main target this time was the three-tailed snow wolf behind Tang Ao. Tang Ao was just a secondary prey. However, from the looks of it, Tang Ao was not an easy prey to kill. Hence, the silver-toothed venomous snake decided to let Tang Ao go and focus on capturing the three-tailed snow wolf. How could Tang Ao not know what the Silver Fang Viper was thinking? The Silver Fang Viper could go back on its word, but Tang Ao was a man of his word. Since Tang Ao had promised the three-tailed snow wolf to deal with the Silver Fang Viper, Tang Ao naturally wouldn't go back on his word. Furthermore, the Silver Fang Viper was cunning and fickle. It was hard to say if the Silver Fang Viper would go back on its word after killing the three-tailed snow wolf and lead the snake horde to deal with Tang Ao. Since that was the case, Tang Ao might as well make the first move to gain the upper hand. At this moment, there were more and more venomous fanged snakes around Tang Ao. Under the perception of Tang Ao's vigorous soul power, there were no less than 3,000 venomous fanged snakes around him. Looking at the squirming venomous fanged snakes around him, Tang Ao felt disgusted. Before Tang Hur advanced, she was also a snake-type demonic beast. However, Tang Hur was extremely small and cute. Chapter 460. The snake did not want to fight with Tang Ao, and Tang Ao did not want to waste time here either. However, Tang Ao wanted the three-tailed snow wolf to sign a contract with Su Ning, and the snake wanted the three-tailed snow wolf to die right here. In this way, the conflict between Tang Ao and the silver-toothed viper was inevitable. Three-tailed snow wolf, you protect my sister disciple Su. Leave the rest to me. After Tang Ao finished speaking, the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit immediately shone with a bright golden light. Then, Tang Ao turned into a golden lightning as he attacked toward the 4th level Sea of Souls realm snake. Facing Tang Ao's attack, the snake was only stunned for a second before it came back to its senses. Then, its huge tail broke 2 trees and attacked toward Tang Ao. In the face of the silver-toothed serpent's abnormally powerful tail, Tang Ao punched it without hesitation. Normally, when human warriors fought against beasts, they would have to rely on their exquisite martial skills to have a chance of winning. This was because beasts' bodies were way more powerful than human warriors. Normally, human warriors of the same level would not be able to fight against beasts of the same level. As for warriors with slightly higher cultivation than beasts, if they chose to fight against beasts that were more powerful than them, it would be suicide. Thus, when the Silver Fang venomous snake saw that Tang Ao did not use any martial technique to receive its attack, its cold triangular eyes could not help but reveal a cruel smile. The Silver Fang venomous snake's iron tail had yet to kill a human martial artist, but the number of monstrous beasts that had died under its iron tail was innumerable. Even though Tang Ao's fist had yet to collide with the Silverfang venomous snake's iron tail, the Silverfang venomous snake seemed to be able to see Tang Ao's arm bones being shattered by its iron tail. Tang Ao's entire body was caught off guard and split into two by itself. This kind of cruel pleasure was something the snake had always enjoyed, and now, it seemed like it was going to enjoy it again. However, the happiness it imagined did not come. Instead, the Silverfang viper heard a crisp "kacha" sound. This crisp sound was clearly not the sound of bones breaking. The Silverfang venomous snake looked down and saw that two scales on its tail had shattered. After seeing two of its scales shatter, the silver-toothed venomous snake felt an intense pain. Right then, Tang Ao's battle saint bone life spirit had already reached the 24th sky. Naturally, its toughness was not something that a mere Sea of Souls realm 4th level silver-tooth poisonous snake could compare with. After clashing with the silver-toothed venomous snake, Tang Ao wasn't injured at all. This was the second time Tang Ao used the battle sage bone life soul after it advanced to the 24th firmament. The last time he used it was to deal with the mysterious ink octopus. However, because the difference in strength between Tang Ao and the ink octopus was too great, Tang Ao could not deeply feel the changes after the battle saint bone life spirit advanced. But through the clash just now, Tang Ao could deeply feel it. At this moment, Tang Ao clenched his fists, his whole body filled with power. Tang Ao felt like he could shatter a mountain with one punch. Chapter 461. After the Silverfang venomous snake was injured by Tang Ao, its triangular eyes instantly seeped out a dark purple liquid. Following that, a dark purple glow enveloped the Silverfang venomous snake's body. Although Tang Ao couldn't recognize it, Tang Ao guessed that it was a life soul similar to the battle sage bone life soul. Not only could human warriors awaken the life soul of the boundless world, but some demon beasts that had taken form and not yet could also head to the boundless world to awaken their life souls. The Silverfang venomous snake in front of him was clearly a demon beast that had awakened its life soul. However, the life soul that the Silverfang venomous snake had awakened was somewhat special. Even with Tang Ao's eyesight, he couldn't recognize what kind of life soul the Silverfang venomous snake had awakened. Although he couldn't tell the origins of this life soul, it didn't affect Tang Ao's battle. Therefore, the moment the Silverfang venomous snake lunged at him, the seven-petaled green lotus behind Tang Ao instantly floated out. Following that, the seven-petaled green lotus spun in the air and transformed into seven sharp swords in a flash of green light. Following that, the seven green lotus swords bombarded the Silverfang venomous snake with an indomitable aura. The seven green lotus swords created a string of sparks on the Silverfang venomous snake's body. At that moment, the Silverfang venomous snake's dark purple scales were unexpectedly hard. At that moment, Tang Ao's green lotus sword soul had only advanced to the 21st heaven life soul, so Tang Ao didn't plan on relying on the green lotus sword soul to slay the Silverfang venomous snake. The reason why he summoned the green lotus sword soul was only to test the mysteries of the Silverfang venomous snake's life soul. From the looks of it, the Silverfang venomous snake's life soul should be a life soul that was highly similar to Tang Ao's battle sage bone life soul. However, it was unknown which heaven the Silverfang venomous snake's life soul had awakened and what kind of life soul it was. The life souls recorded in the heavens' evolution records were extremely rare. There were introductions to many life souls that Tang Ao had never heard of in his 2 lifetimes. However, the silver-toothed venomous snake's life soul wasn't recorded in the heavens' evolution records. So, a wind-breaking sound could be heard as the silver-toothed viper's sturdy tail arrived next to Tang Ao's ear. Tang Ao punched without any hesitation and immediately retreated. After Tang Ao dodged, he had his own plans. The huge snake's mouth naturally missed its target. Snake-type demonic beasts were known for their cunning and ever-changing nature. Just now, the silver fang venomous snake's attack on Tang Ao's head seemed to be extremely sharp, but it was actually just a feint. The silver fang venomous snake's real killing move was actually this tricky angle of attack. After the silver fang viper summoned its life soul, Tang Ao's battle sage bone life soul could only be on par with the silver fang viper's life soul. Therefore, if the silver fang venomous snake had bitten Tang Ao, it was very likely that Tang Ao would be severely injured. Moreover, he knew that the silver fang venomous snake had been fighting with Tang Ao, and the venom that the silver fang venomous snake was so proud of had yet to be used. While fighting with Tang Ao, the silver fang venomous snake suddenly let out a strange shriek. After this strange sound, the surrounding fanged venomous snakes also started to attack. These fanged venomous snakes numbered in the tens of thousands. Some of them attacked Tang Ao, while others attacked the three-tailed snow wolf and Su Ning. When Tang Ao and the silver fang venomous snake fought, the silver fang venomous snake discovered Tang Ao's strength through a few collisions. Although it was a bit unbelievable, the silver fang venomous snake was sure that Tang Ao's cultivation was only at the third level of the Spirit Sea realm. Chapter 462. The silver fang viper's poisonous gas was extremely condensed and as thin as a strand of hair. In such a battle, it was almost undetectable to the naked eye, but thankfully, Tang Ao's powerful and vigorous soul power had enveloped the area from the beginning of the battle. Therefore, Tang Ao immediately sensed the silver fang viper's poisonous gas, so Tang Ao instantly dodged. However, just as Tang Ao was about to dodge, the 6 fanged vipers around Tang Ao instantly wrapped around Tang Ao's body, causing Tang Ao's body to pause for a moment. After being wrapped around by the 6 fanged vipers, Tang Ao was alarmed. Without any hesitation, he used his powerful spiritual power to snap the 6 fanged vipers. However, at the instant Tang Ao snapped the fanged vipers, the dark purple needle instantly pierced through Tang Ao's left arm. Tang Ao originally believed that he could ignore the silver fang viper's venom because he had the jade bone vitality life soul, but only when the venom penetrated his left arm did Tang Ao realize that he was wrong. Furthermore, he was gravely mistaken. After Tang Ao's left arm was pierced by the silver fang viper's venom, the flesh around the pierced area instantly necrotized. Furthermore, it rapidly spread to the surroundings. Thankfully, Tang Ao's reaction wasn't slow. At the instant the venom spread, Tang Ao's right hand formed a knife hand shape as he sliced off a piece of flesh from his left arm. After the flesh that Tang Ao sliced off fell to the ground, the surrounding plants that were stained with Tang Ao's blood immediately withered. Even the few fanged vipers that were wandering around subconsciously distanced themselves. Tang Ao's battle sage bone life soul had been shattered before, so Tang Ao knew that the fanged viper's venom hadn't shattered his battle sage bone life soul and attacked him. Instead, it had directly dissolved the battle sage bone life soul. The majority of snake-type demonic beasts were able to spit out venom. However, this was the first time that Tang Ao had encountered one that could do it like the silver fang viper. The venom of the silver fang venomous snake was extremely condensed, like a needle. When it attacked Tang Ao, the silver fang viper's venom instantly melted the battle sage bone life soul that covered Tang Ao's body. Then, it penetrated the battle sage bone life soul and attacked Tang Ao's body. After Tang Ao sliced off a piece of flesh without hesitation, the jade bone life soul in Tang Ao's body instantly spewed out. Then, white smoke sizzled out of Tang Ao's wound. Although Tang Ao had cut off the poisoned area in time, there was still residual poison in the adjacent areas. The three-tailed snow wolf was only trying anything in a desperate situation. She didn't know if the 2 humans, Tang Ao and Su Ning, could save her sister, but after seeing Tang Ao's healing methods, the three-tailed snow wolf believed that Tang Ao had the ability to save her sister. The premise was that Tang Ao had to leave this place alive. At that moment, the three-tailed snow wolf regretted taking Tang Ao down this path. The three-tailed snow wolf had been in this jungle for quite some time, so she naturally knew the safest path. However, it was too late to say anything now. Right now, the only thing she could do was to repel the fanged vipers and the silver fang viper before considering anything else. The three-tailed snow wolf spat out an icy breath, freezing a fanged viper that was biting at her front leg into an ice sculpture. Then, she shattered it with a swipe of her claws. Chapter 463. But that was because the poisonous fanged snake was heavily struck by the three-tailed snow wolf, and it lost its ability to move. However, as a martial artist of the third level of the Origin Realm, to be able to kill a poisonous fanged snake of the 9th level of the Origin Realm, no matter what the reason was, it was enough to be proud. But it was obviously not the time to be proud. After Su Ning killed a fanged viper, more fanged vipers attacked Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf fiercely. However, most of these poisonous snakes were at the Origin Martial Realm. Only a few that had been waiting for the right time had reached the first level of the Spirit Sea Realm. Different from these crazily attacking venomous fanged snakes, these first-layer Spiritual Ocean Realm venomous fanged snakes had obviously gained intelligence. Therefore, they had been waiting for the three-tailed snow wolf to reveal an opening so that they could poison it to death. As for Su Ning, who was at the third level of the Origin Martial Realm, she was completely ignored by these poisonous snakes. However, after observing for a long time, the three-tailed snow wolf's defense was flawless. There was no opening at all. At this time, the silver-toothed viper that was fighting with Tang Ao issued a sharp screech. Without a choice, these poisonous snakes could only grit their teeth and charge towards the three-tailed snow wolf. Originally, the three-tailed snow wolf was already under a lot of pressure when facing this many poisonous snake. Now, with these Spirit Sea Realm poisonous snakes joining in, the pressure on the three-tailed snow wolf instantly increased. In this kind of situation, the three-tailed snow wolf could easily protect itself, but it would be a bit difficult to protect Su Ning at the same time. However, if the three-tailed snow wolf did not protect Su Ning, then Su Ning would probably be bitten to death by these horrifying poisonous snakes. Of course, Tang Ao saw the predicament that Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf were in, but at that moment, Tang Ao did not have the power to help. The silver-toothed poisonous snake that was fighting with Tang Ao had reached the fourth layer of the Sea of Souls realm, which was one layer higher than Tang Ao. Furthermore, the battle sage bone life soul that Tang Ao was proud of was successfully restrained by the silver fang venomous snake. Tang Ao's battle sage bone life soul was unable to do much, but the silver fang venomous snake's terrifying venom gave Tang Ao a headache. The venom of the silver fang viper was too strange and tricky. Moreover, this silver fang viper was also very cunning. Even with Tang Ao's battle experience and reaction speed, he was still hit by the silver fang venomous snake's venom twice. The first time, Tang Ao was separated by a piece of flesh. The second time, when the silver fang venomous snake's venom pierced through the battle sage bone life soul, Tang Ao twisted his body in time. Therefore, the silver fang venomous snake's venom only penetrated Tang Ao's battle sage bone life soul without injuring Tang Ao. However, this was also extremely terrifying. Tang Ao's 7 Slaughter Holy Way and battle sage bone life soul were unable to deal fatal damage to the silver fang venomous snake, but the silver fang venomous snake's attacks could instantly kill Tang Ao at any moment. Thankfully, the silver fang venomous snake didn't seem to have much venom, so it didn't keep releasing its venom. Otherwise, there would be no need to fight this battle. After the 7 Slaughter Holy Way and battle sage bone life soul were unable to injure the silver fang venomous snake, Tang Ao used the silver fang venomous snake's powerful tail to open up a distance between him and the silver fang venomous snake. Following that, Tang Ao took out the Sunshot Divine Bow and Silver Feather arrows. The silver fang venomous snake's venom was too strange and tricky. When Tang Ao fought it in close combat, he had to constantly be wary of its venom. Chapter 464. Seeing this, Tang Ao sneered and immediately knocked 3 silver-feathered arrows onto the sun-shooting divine bow. These silver-feathered arrows were something Tang Ao had snatched from Long Junliang. Furthermore, Tang Ao had used them before. Although there weren't many silver-feathered arrows, they were very useful. The silver-feathered arrows were infused with a powerful dragon aura. It was more effective against demonic beasts than warriors. Originally, Tang Ao wanted to infuse the hexagram mirror's aura into the silver-feathered arrows. However, when Tang Ao tried to communicate with the hexagram mirror, it didn't respond. Clearly, although the hexagram mirror hanging around Tang Ao's neck was extremely mysterious and powerful, there was a certain level of wear and tear when it was used frequently. Previously, Tang Ao had infused the hexagram mirror's aura into the silver-feathered arrows thrice. It seemed like the hexagram mirror needed some time to recover before Tang Ao could continue using it. However, the dragon aura inside the hexagram mirror was extremely powerful. Back then, Tang Ao had suffered a small loss when he was caught off guard. The silver-toothed snake relied on the special life soul covering its body to ignore the sun-shooting divine bow in Tang Ao's hand. Therefore, the silver-toothed snake didn't hesitate to attack Tang Ao. As for Tang Ao, he pulled the sun-shooting divine bow into a full moon. Tang Ao's surging spiritual power was constantly injected into the sun-shooting divine bow. So, with a sound, the 3 silver-feathered arrows were like 3 shining meteors. They flew towards the silver-toothed snake with streams of light. The silver-toothed snake didn't disappoint Tang Ao. This was because the silver-toothed snake relied on the strength of its life soul to collide with the silver-feathered arrows without dodging. However, the moment the silver-feathered arrows and the silver-toothed snake came into contact, it let out a shrill cry. The silver feather arrow contained a dragon aura that struck directly at the soul. Tang Ao had experienced the power of the silver feather arrow in the past, and now the silver fang viper had also tasted the bitterness of the silver feather arrow. After the silver feather arrow hit the silver-tooth viper, the spiritual power of the silver-tooth viper instantly became chaotic. Tang Ao took this opportunity and the 100-battle spear soul instantly appeared in Tang Ao's hand. Then, Tang Ao turned the spear upside down and stabbed at the silver-tooth viper. Ding, a crisp sound was heard. The 100-battle spear soul felt as if it had hit a hard diamond. Tang Ao's arm felt a little numb, and the 100-battle spear soul almost flew out of his hand. Tang Ao was alarmed. The life soul on the surface of the silver-tooth viper's body seemed to be even harder than the battle sage bone life soul in terms of toughness. After the battle sage bone life soul advanced to the 24th firmament, Tang Ao was extremely satisfied with the battle sage bone life soul's toughness. However, the battle sage bone life soul's toughness was still inferior to the silver-toothed viper's life soul's toughness. Just as Tang Ao was at a loss for what to do, the 3-tailed snow wolf's crisp voice sounded. Tang Ao, the life soul on the surface of the silver-tooth viper's body, is the projection of the purple flame dragon armor at the 30th firmament. This life soul is extremely afraid of frost attack. After the 3-tailed snow wolf said that, it hurriedly dealt with the surrounding fanged vipers. There were thousands of fanged vipers around the 3-tailed snow wolf and Su Ning. Furthermore, there was an endless stream of fanged vipers rushing over from afar. The 3-tailed snow wolf was already thinking of escaping. Chapter 465. Tang Ao originally thought that the 3-tailed snow wolf would run away after the battle started. If that was the case, Tang Ao could only take Su Ning out of the forest and think of other ways to get Su Ning to form a spirit-beast contract with the 3-tailed snow wolf. There were many powerful beasts in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, and many of them were worthy of forming a spirit-beast contract. However, for Su Ning, who had the sky polar eyes, the 3-tailed snow wolf was clearly the most suitable beast. The 3-tailed snow wolf's ice attribute spirit power was the same as Su Ning's. Moreover, the three-tailed snow wolf had great potential, so it would be extremely powerful when it matured into a nine-tailed snow wolf. Other than that, the three-tailed snow wolf was not weak either. A third-level Sea of Souls realm beast would be extremely powerful even in the black-yellow continent. In some smaller sects, it could even be the sect's guardian spirit beast. When Tang Ao learned that the dark purple life soul summoned by the silver-toothed venomous snake was actually a projection from the 30th heaven life soul, Tang Ao was secretly shocked. In his previous life, the strongest life soul Tang Ao had awakened was the 29th heaven life soul. In other words, this was the first time in his 2 lives that Tang Ao had seen a life soul from the 30th heaven. Although this life soul was only a projection of the 30th heaven life soul, it was still powerful enough. Tang Ao's Battle Saint Bone life soul already had the strength of the 24th heaven life soul, but compared to the silver-toothed venomous snake's life soul, the Battle Saint Bone life soul was much weaker. In other words, the 30th heaven life soul was just a projection, but its power was even stronger than the 24th heaven life soul. To verify this guess, Tang Ao summoned the Mora Bone Dagger life soul from the 23rd heaven. The Mora Bone Dagger life soul was already at the 23rd heaven when Tang Ao awakened it, but after so long, Tang Ao had not advanced the Mora Bone Dagger life soul. Without a doubt, Tang Ao's strongest attack was still the Mora Bone Dagger life soul from the 23rd heaven. The moment the Mora Bone Dagger life soul appeared, a chilling killing intent spread out. Before the battle, the Silver Fang venomous snake had sensed the aura of death from Tang Ao's body. At that moment, when the Mora Bone Dagger life soul appeared, the Silver Fang venomous snake immediately understood the source of the aura of death. Therefore, after Tang Ao summoned the Mora Bone Dagger, the Silver Fang venomous snake turned nervous. Tang Ao summoned the Mora Bone Dagger. Apart from using the Mora Bone Dagger life soul to attack the silver-toothed venomous snake, he also wanted to use the Mora Bone Dagger to distract the silver-toothed venomous snake before using the Mystic Frost Chi to attack it. The three-tailed snow wolf had been battling with the silver-toothed poisonous snake in this forest for so long, so it should be very clear about its weaknesses. Otherwise, with the three-tailed snow wolf only being at the 3rd level of the Seas of Souls realm, it would have been killed by the snake already. In Su Ning's sect, there were many people who had cultivated the Mystic Frost Chi, and there were many who had mastered it. However, everyone had always believed that the Mystic Frost Chi had no lethality when used against enemies. Therefore, other than Su Ning, no one else had cultivated the Mystic Frost Chi in depth. However, after Tang Ao cultivated the Mystic Frost Chi, he realized that the Mystic Frost Chi could actually resonate with his hidden jade in stone body. In layman's terms, the Mystic Frost Chi could be seen as a complementary technique to the hidden jade in stone body. Therefore, when Tang Ao cultivated the Mystic Frost Chi, he felt like a tiger that had grown wings. When Tang Ao used the Mystic Frost Chi, it was like a divine aid. Chapter 466. As Tang Ao constantly condensed the Mystic Frost aura, the warm aura from Tang Ao's concealed jade in stone slowly spun. Furthermore, wisps of mist constantly dissipated into Tang Ao's limbs. As for the Mystic Frost aura condensed by Tang Ao, the temperature was dropping. The Silver Fang venomous snake had seen Tang Ao use the Mystic Frost aura to seal the three-tailed snow wolf. Therefore, when it saw the Mystic Frost aura constantly condensing in Tang Ao's hand, it didn't dare be careless. As the spiritual energy in the Silver Fang venomous snake stirred, the purple flame dragon armor life soul on its body emitted wisps of purple flames. The temperature of the flames was extremely high. Under the influence of Tang Ao's Mystic Frost aura, the surrounding temperature had already dropped by a few degrees. However, after the Silver Fang venomous snake's strange flames appeared, the surrounding temperature instantly rose. While Tang Ao was fighting the Silver Fang venomous snake, there were still some fanged snakes that constantly disturbed Tang Ao. However, after the silver-fang venomous snake released the dark purple flames, the surrounding fanged snakes subconsciously distanced themselves from Tang Ao. Under the fanged snake's control, 3 dark purple flames appeared in front of the silver-fang venomous snake in a triangular formation. It was secretly wary of Tang Ao's attack. As for Tang Ao, he wasn't in a hurry to attack. The longer he condensed the mystic frost aura, the stronger it would be. If the silver-fang venomous snake were to attack first, Tang Ao could only strike out with the mystic frost aura that hadn't been condensed to its limit. However, the silver-fang venomous snake had chosen to defend, so it couldn't blame Tang Ao. The silver-fang venomous snake was somewhat anxious as Tang Ao didn't attack. If not for the fact that Su Ning and the 3-tailed snow wolf were facing the threat of the large group of fanged snakes, Tang Ao really wanted to condense the mystic frost aura to its limits before striking out. However, now that Su Ning was in danger, Tang Ao didn't dare delay too long. Moreover, up until now, Tang Ao and the silver-toothed viper were unable to do anything to each other. Tang Ao also felt somewhat helpless. Tang Ao's fighting style had always been to end the fight quickly and without any sloppiness. However, against a powerful opponent like the silver-toothed viper, even if Tang Ao wanted to end the fight quickly, he would not be able to. Black Cold Chi Seal. When Tang Ao's profound cold energy had condensed to a certain degree, Tang Ao suddenly let out a loud roar. Then, 2 streams of profound cold energy surged towards the silver-fang viper from both sides. As the 3-tailed snow wolf fought Su Ning, it kept an eye on Tang Ao from the corner of its eyes. As long as Tang Ao ended this battle, it didn't matter if he won or lost. Therefore, Su Ning was also very nervous as she watched Tang Ao and the silver-fang viper collide. In the face of the oncoming profound cold energy, the silver-fang viper hurriedly struck out with its 3 dark purple flames. The 3 bursting dark purple flames emitted a terrifying temperature as they shot towards Tang Ao. Between Tang Ao and the silver-fang viper, Tang Ao's 2 streams of profound cold energy collided with the silver-fang viper's 3 dark purple flames. In the instant of the collision, Tang Ao's profound cold energy was like a hot knife through butter, freezing the silver-fang viper's 3 dark purple flames into ice sculptures. Seeing this scene, Su Ning and the 3-tailed snow wolf both felt relieved. However, Tang Ao's expression was somewhat solemn. According to Tang Ao's perception, although the profound cold energy had sealed the 3 flames, one of the 2 layers of profound cold energy had already melted. Chapter 467. Furthermore, under the silver-toothed viper's control, the 3 flames sealed off Tang Ao's upper, middle, and lower paths. As for Tang Ao's only path of retreat, it was also tightly locked onto by the silver-toothed viper. Clearly, the silver-toothed viper was somewhat anxious after fighting Tang Ao for so long without a victor being decided. It wanted to decide the victor with this strike. As for Tang Ao, his thoughts were the same as the silver-toothed viper. The silver-toothed viper wanted to decide the victor with this strike, while Tang Ao didn't wish to waste any more time. Although the current situation didn't look optimistic for Tang Ao's Mora bone dagger silently arrived behind the silver-toothed viper under the mystic frost aura's envelopment. Furthermore, it slowly climbed to the spot 7 inches below the silver-toothed viper. At that moment, when the silver-toothed viper saw that Tang Ao was in a precarious situation, all its attention was focused on Tang Ao. Therefore, it didn't notice the Mora bone dagger behind it. When Tang Ao and the silver-toothed viper engaged in close combat, although he hadn't been able to crack the purple flame dragon armor on the surface of the silver-toothed viper's body, all of Tang Ao's attacks had basically struck a spot 7 inches below the silver-toothed viper. As a result, a crack had been blasted open by Tang Ao. Although using the power of a life-soul projection was extremely convenient and powerful, it wasn't without its disadvantages. As the life-soul hadn't been awakened by him, it was impossible for him to use it as he wished. Apart from that, if Tang Ao's Battle Sage Bone Life Soul was damaged, Tang Ao would be able to instantly sense it even if he didn't see it. However, the Silver-Toothed Viper's Purple Flame Dragon Armor Life Soul was only a life soul projection. Therefore, the Silver-Toothed Viper was completely unaware of the damage to the Purple Flame Dragon Armor Life Soul. Die! The Silverfang Viper let out an ear-piercing screech. Then, 3 dark purple flames and the Silverfang Viper's huge tail attacked Tang Ao. Faced with such an abnormally sharp attack, Tang Ao didn't dare be careless. Although the Mora Bone Dagger had arrived behind the Silver-Toothed Viper, Tang Ao would be wronged if he were to perish with the Silver-Toothed Viper due to carelessness. Therefore, Tang Ao controlled the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul to constantly condense on the surface of his body, allowing the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul and the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul to form a double layer of protection. Following that, Tang Ao endured the 3 fireballs and charged at the Silverfang Venomous Snake. Although the Silverfang Venomous Snake's attention was all on Tang Ao, it could instantly dodge once Tang Ao used the Mora Bone Dagger Life Soul to attack it. If Tang Ao wanted to succeed in one strike, he had to personally engage the Silver-Toothed Viper. Snake-type demon beasts had always been known for being sinister and cunning, but against a human warrior with extraordinary intelligence, its cunning was insignificant. Seeing Tang Ao charge at it, the Silver-Toothed Viper sped up. It had eaten quite a bit of demon beast meat of the same level, but it had never eaten the meat of a human warrior. Since the human in front of it was shameless, it might as well use him as an appetizer. Chapter 468. Although Tang Ao looked like he wanted to fight against the 3 balls of dark purple flames, in reality, Tang Ao would control the Mora Bone Dagger to attack the moment he came into contact with the purple flames, instantly killing the snake. However, in the snake's eyes, as well as Su Ning and the 3-tailed snow wolf's eyes, Tang Ao seemed to want to die together with the snake. Senior Tang Ao, don't. Su Ning watched as Tang Ao charged toward the snake with a golden light all over his body. Moreover, Tang Ao didn't seem to care about the 3 balls of dark purple flames that the snake had shot out at all. Su Ning saw this and panicked, thinking that Tang Ao was going to fight the snake to the death. Due to the hidden jade body, Su Ning couldn't tell Tang Ao's strength, but Su Ning knew that the snake that Tang Ao was facing right now was a demonic beast at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm. Furthermore, according to the 3-tailed snow wolf, the Silver-Toothed Venomous Snake's life soul was a life soul projection from the 30th firmament. The current leader of the 100-Flower Valley had only awakened a 21st level life spirit. Su Ning had always thought that a 30th level life spirit only existed in legends. However, at this moment, Su Ning saw it with her own eyes. Although the snake's purple flame dragon armor was only a projection, Su Ning could still feel its terrifying aura from it. Just as Su Ning was worrying for Tang Ao, a cold light suddenly flashed in Su Ning's eyes. Then, Su Ning's pupils turned into a deep blue hexagram. After Su Ning's pupils changed, Su Ning's entire aura changed as well. The 2 snakes that were about to attack Su Ning were instantly frozen into ice shards by Su Ning's cold chi. Su Ning was only at the 3rd level of the Origin Martial Realm, but the 2 snakes that were frozen by the cold chi from her body were at the 9th level of the Origin Martial Realm. The 3-tailed snow wolf quickly noticed Su Ning's change. When the 3-tailed snow wolf saw the change in Su Ning's pupils, her heart suddenly froze. She seemed to have seen this shape before, but she couldn't remember it. After seeing that Tang Ao was in danger, Su Ning's sky polar pupils started to run again. As Su Ning's sky polar pupils were activated, the 3 balls of dark purple flames that were flying toward Tang Ao also had a layer of frost. Although the sky polar pupils were powerful, it needed to constantly consume the spirit energy in Su Ning's body. Su Ning was only at the 3rd level of the Origin Martial Realm, so she didn't have much spirit energy stored in her body. Therefore, in just a short while, Su Ning's spirit energy was completely consumed. After the spirit energy in her body was used up, Su Ning powerlessly sat on the ground. The three-tailed snow wolf also rushed to Su Ning's side to protect Su Ning. At the same time, Tang Ao and the silver fang venomous snake finally clashed. The three dark purple flames that were supposed to bombard Tang Ao's body instantly slowed down due to Su Ning's extreme sky pupils. Tang Ao also took advantage of this opportunity and instantly closed in on the silver fang venomous snake while dodging the three flames. At the same time, under Tang Ao's control, the Mora Bone Dagger Life Soul instantly aimed at the silver fang snake's weak spot and attacked it. With a poochie sound, Tang Ao's Mora Bone Dagger Life Soul easily shattered the purple Flame Dragon Armor Life Soul on the silver fang snake's body. Then, it stabbed into the silver fang snake's weak spot. Chapter 469. Tang Ao's Mora Bone Dagger failed to kill the silver fang venomous snake, but Tang Ao had already arrived beside the silver fang venomous snake. The 7 azure lotus swords behind Tang Ao followed him like a peacock spreading its tail. After Tang Ao pointed, the 7 azure lotus swords instantly bombarded the silver fang venomous snake's wound. If the silver fang venomous snake was at its peak, Tang Ao's 7 kills Sage Dao wouldn't have been able to injure it under the protection of the purple flame dragon armor life soul. However, the silver fang venomous snake's purple flame dragon armor life soul had already been dispersed by Tang Ao. Furthermore, the silver fang venomous snake had been injured by the Mora Bone Dagger. This gave Tang Ao an opportunity, so Tang Ao naturally wouldn't miss the opportunity. The man who had saved the silver fang venomous snake gave Tang Ao an extremely strong sense of oppression. And the fact that he had saved the silver fang venomous snake at the critical moment meant that he was in cahoots with it. Furthermore, Tang Ao could tell from his aura and the triangular eyes unique to snake-type demon beasts that although the person was in human form, he was also a demon beast in human form. If he were to face the silver fang venomous snake and the mysterious man who had suddenly appeared, Tang Ao wasn't very confident. Therefore, Tang Ao wanted to seize this opportunity to kill the silver fang venomous snake that had been injured by the Mora Bone Dagger. Golden Fang Venomous Snake Lord was instantly enraged when he saw Tang Ao want to kill his brother in front of him. "How dare you!" Golden Fang Venomous Snake Lord instantly transformed into a golden beam of light and appeared beside Tang Ao. He struck at Tang Ao's azure lotus swords with his bare hands. Tang Ao's green lotus swords were originally aimed at the silver-toothed venomous snake, but after being patted by the golden-toothed snake man, the 7 green lotus swords instantly flew back. The moment the green lotus sword was slapped away, Tang Ao once again controlled the Mora Bone Dagger to stab the silver fang viper. Then, Tang Ao's figure flashed and appeared beside Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf. Tang Ao grabbed the three-tailed snow wolf with one hand and Su Ning with the other as he prepared to escape. This was because Tang Ao had sensed from Golden Fang Snake Lord's casual attack that he was actually a warrior from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Right now, Tang Ao was only at the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm. If he ran into a warrior from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, Tang Ao could only run away. If Tang Ao fled directly, he would definitely be intercepted by the Golden Fang Snake Lord. Therefore, Tang Ao first stabbed the silver-toothed venomous Snake Lord with his Mora Bone Dagger to divert the Golden Fang Snake Lord's attention to the silver-toothed venomous Snake Lord. Then, Tang Ao fled with Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf. After being stabbed by the Mora Bone Dagger, the golden-toothed snake man cut off a huge chunk of flesh from the silver-toothed venomous snake man's body. Seeing Tang Ao run away, the silver-toothed venomous snake man gritted his teeth and said, "Big brother, we can't let them get away." After the silver-toothed venomous snake man said, it opened its mouth and a hair-thin poisonous needle flew toward Tang Ao. However, Tang Ao's body flashed, and he easily dodged the silver-toothed venomous snake man's attack. However, before Tang Ao could rejoice, an even sharper poisonous needle flew toward Su Ning from the silver-toothed venomous snake man's mouth. When Su Ning saw the poisonous needle magnify in front of her eyes, she fell into deep despair. When Tang Ao was fighting the silver-toothed venomous snake man, he cut off a chunk of flesh. When Su Ning was fighting the silver-toothed venomous snake man, she saw it from the corner of her eyes. This silver-toothed venomous snake man's poisonous needle was extremely powerful. Once it hit her, she would definitely die here. Chapter 470. The instant the poisonous needle flew past Tang Ao's eyes, Tang Ao felt a burning pain in his eyes. After that, Tang Ao's vision sank into endless darkness. Tang Ao's soul power had been enveloping his surroundings the entire time. Thus, Tang Ao was naturally aware of what had happened. After the poisonous needle brushed past Tang Ao's eyes, it pierced through Su Ning's body without slowing down. Finally, it shot into the three-tailed snow wolf's body. After Tang Ao's soul power sensed that Su Ning had been hit by the poisonous needle, Tang Ao was greatly shocked. However, right now, Tang Ao didn't dare to stop and check on Su Ning's injuries. This was because Tang Ao didn't have the slightest chance of winning against the Golden Fang Snake Lord on the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Thus, Tang Ao had to escape to a safe area while the Golden Fang Snake Lord was treating the Silver Fang Snake Lord's injuries. After flying a certain distance, Tang Ao formed a sword with his fingers and slashed them across his eyes without hesitation. After spitting out a mist of blood, Tang Ao's eyes fell out. Although it was difficult to accept reality, Tang Ao had to face it calmly. His eyes had been crippled by the Golden Fang Snake Lord. The poisonous needle shot by the Golden Fang Snake Lord was formed from the highly condensed venom in his body. Although the poisonous needle only brushed past Tang Ao's eyes, the terrifying poisonous gas on the needle still seeped into Tang Ao's eyes. In order to prevent the poison from spreading, Tang Ao had no choice but to remove his eyes despite the pain. After a martial artist cultivated to the origin martial realm, their soul power would become extremely powerful. With their soul power, they would be able to see their surroundings more clearly than with their naked eyes. However, for Tang Ao, who had cultivated the Heaven's Eye technique, his eyes were able to see things much more clearly than his soul power's range of perception. But now, Tang Ao's eyes were disabled. Tang Ao and the Silver Fang Viper did not have a deep grudge against each other, but the Silver Fang Viper wanted to kill Tang Ao for no reason. In the end, the two sides fought. As for the golden-toothed Snake Lord, there was no enmity between him and Tang Ao. However, at this moment, Tang Ao's eyes had been destroyed by him. Tang Ao wasn't a vengeful person, but he could clearly distinguish between gratitude and grudges. Hence, Tang Ao secretly made up his mind that when he left the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm, he would definitely kill the Silver Fang Venomous Snake Lord and the Golden Fang Snake Lord. Tang Ao flew in the direction that the three-tailed snow wolf had told him, while spreading out his soul force in all directions. Tang Ao could sense that the golden-toothed Snake Lord wasn't chasing after him. It was clear that the golden-toothed Snake Lord was extremely confident in his venom. Tang Ao, Su Ning, and the three-tailed snow wolf were all struck by the golden-toothed Snake Lord's venomous needles. Right now, Tang Ao was using his profound frost chi to seal Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf in ice to slow down the spread of the venom. Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf immediately fell unconscious after being struck by the venomous needles. Furthermore, their auras were growing weaker and weaker. Tang Ao knew that he had to find a place to disperse the venom. Otherwise, the two of them would be corroded into a puddle of blood in less than an hour. Unlike the Silver Fang Venomous Snake Lord's venom, the effect of the golden-toothed Snake Lord's venom wasn't very fast. However, the golden-toothed Snake Lord's venom was extremely troublesome to deal with. If Tang Ao's eyes had been injured by the silver fang venomous snake lord, then Tang Ao would only need to remove his own eyes to immediately prevent the venom from corroding his other organs. However, the golden-toothed snake lord's venom was different. When the venom entered Tang Ao's eyes, it instantly flowed through Tang Ao's entire body. Chapter 471. Even though his consciousness was gradually fading, Tang Ao gritted his teeth and flew into the distance. He was still in the Golden Fang Snake Sovereign's territory. In his current state, if the Golden Fang Snake Sovereign chased after Tang Ao would die. Tang Ao was blind, so he could only rely on his powerful soul power to sense his surroundings. In the outside world, it would be very easy for him to use his soul power to sense his surroundings. However, there was something strange about this forest. Tang Ao's soul power was frequently disturbed here. However, Tang Ao wasn't sure if his soul power was disturbed by the forest or because of the Golden Fang Snake Sovereign's poison in his body. Tang Ao did his best to maintain his consciousness, but as the Golden Fang Snake Sovereign's poison gradually invaded his body, Tang Ao's consciousness became more and more hazy. After flying for a while, Tang Ao's consciousness suddenly stopped, and he fell from the sky. With a bang, Tang Ao landed on a hard bluestone. The violent tremors caused Tang Ao's consciousness to clear up a little, but Tang Ao knew that this was only temporary. Tang Ao's originally boundless soul power had become extremely weak, but Tang Ao still spread it out in all directions. Although he was far from the Golden Fang Snake Sovereign's territory, Tang Ao didn't know if he had accidentally entered the territory of some powerful monster. After using his soul power to scan the area, Tang Ao felt a little strange. From what Tang Ao could see, there were only a few trees in this forest. Apart from these trees, there wasn't even a single monster. If this were any other place, this wouldn't be strange. However, it was extremely abnormal for such a place to appear in a forest filled with monsters. Something was definitely wrong. Tang Ao had no choice but to strengthen his mental power and carefully investigate his surroundings. After Tang Ao used his soul power to clearly investigate the surrounding trees, Tang Ao became even more puzzled. There were a lot of trees in this forest, but almost all of them were lush trees that reached the sky. However, the trees in this forest were all a type of tree that Tang Ao had never seen before and could not name. From their appearance alone, these trees looked like ordinary willows, but they were more graceful than the willows seen in the outside world. Under the perception of Tang Ao's soul power, these special willow trees seemed to be exceptionally beautiful. When he thought of that, Tang Ao couldn't help but laugh at his own thoughts. It seemed that golden-toothed noble's poison had already affected his thinking. At this moment, he felt that the willow trees were exceptionally beautiful. Pah! Tang Ao was finally unable to suppress the poison in his body and fainted. After Tang Ao fainted, the spiritual power that was used to maintain the mysterious cold energy instantly stopped replenishing. Then, the mysterious cold energy that sealed Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf instantly melted. After the mysterious cold energy dissipated, Su Ning's eyes moved twice before she powerlessly opened them. When Su Ning saw that Tang Ao's eyes were continuously bleeding, her heart was filled with grief. However, at this moment, Su Ning couldn't move. She could only weakly look at the unconscious Tang Ao. The three-tailed snow wolf also woke up. Compared to Tang Ao and Su Ning, the three-tailed snow wolf wasn't deeply poisoned. The three-tailed snow wolf had fought with the silver-toothed venomous snake for many years, so it was very clear about the silver-toothed venomous snake's tricks. Chapter 472. The three-tailed snow wolf struggled to walk to Tang Ao's side. Tang Ao, wake up! This is Jade Willow Forest. Without an invitation, no one can enter. We have to leave this place quickly. The three-tailed snow wolf used its snow-white claws to scratch Tang Ao, but Tang Ao was too deeply poisoned. He did not move at all. The three-tailed snow wolf had no choice but to carry Tang Ao and Su Ning onto its back. Then, it wanted to bring Tang Ao and Su Ning away from this place as soon as possible. However, at that moment, an ethereal voice suddenly entered the three-tailed snow wolf's ears. "Is the one in Jade Willow Forest my little sister, the three-tailed snow wolf?" When the voice spoke of the three-tailed snow wolf, there was a hint of joy in it. The three-tailed snow wolf also felt that the voice was very familiar. The three-tailed snow wolf remembered a friend, but this friend had disappeared a long time ago. As the three-tailed snow wolf was still in a daze, a beautiful woman with a slender waist suddenly walked out from the depths of Jade Willow Forest. Seeing this beautiful woman, the three-tailed snow wolf was stunned for a moment before recognizing her. "You are Sister Lu Lingxian. Didn't you go missing for more than 20 years? Also, you look so beautiful after you transform." After saying that, the three-tailed snow wolf suddenly thought of something. It hurriedly said to Lu Lingxian, "Sister Lu, hurry up and save these two people. My little sister has also been bitten by the silver fang viper." While talking to the three-tailed snow wolf, Lu Lingxian had also arrived beside Tang Ao and Su Ning. Lu Lingxian glanced at Tang Ao and furrowed her brows. Although this was a thorny problem, there was still hope. Then, Lu Lingxian glanced at Su Ning. Seeing Su Ning in this state, Lu Lingxian grabbed Su Ning's wrist. After feeling it for a moment, Lu Lingxuan's face suddenly revealed a bitter expression. "Little Snow, this friend of yours cannot be saved. I will go see your little sister now." Lu Lingxian did not know the relationship between the three-tailed snow wolf and Tang Ao, but when he saw the wolf and Tang Ao together, he thought that Tang Ao and Su Ning were the wolf's friends. Lu Lingxian had been away from Jade Willow Forest for more than 20 years. He had no idea what had happened in Jade Willow Forest. Lu Lingxian did not know what happened in Jade Willow Forest. After hearing Lu's words, the three-tailed snow wolf heard, "The three-tailed snow wolf's wolf." However, the three-tailed snow wolf also understood that the jade willow tree in the Jade Willow Forest possessed extraordinary medical skills. If Lu Lingxian was unable to save Su Ning, then Su Ning was truly hopeless. Lu Lingxian felt that something was wrong in Jade Willow Forest. Lu Lingxian was a jade willow, but when he returned to Jade Willow Forest, he found that his companions were no longer there. At that moment, Lu Lingxian sensed that something was amiss in Jade Willow Forest. Lu Lingxian was also a jade willow in Jade Willow Forest. However, when he returned to Jade Willow Forest, he discovered that his companions were no longer around. The cave was where the three-tailed snow wolf lived. It was a cave covered in ice and snow. The three-tailed snow wolf brought Tang Ao and Su Ning to the front while Lu Lingxian followed behind them. When the three-tailed snow wolf returned to the cave, a petite one-tailed snow wolf happily called out and ran to the three-tailed snow wolf's feet. Although the one-tailed snow wolf had some intelligence, it could not speak like the three-tailed snow wolf. Moreover, this one-tailed snow wolf had been bitten by the silver fang viper not long ago, so it was very weak. Chapter 473. After Lu Lingxian entered the snow cave, he picked up one of the snow wolves. After checking the injuries on the snow wolf, Lu Lingxian relaxed slightly. The snow wolf's injuries were indeed caused by the silver-toothed venomous snake, but the poison wasn't too deep. With her medical skills, the snow wolf would recover in less than half a month. Compared to the snow wolf, Tang Ao and Su Ning's injuries were even more serious. Although the silver-toothed venomous snake's venom was strong, it was still inferior to the golden-toothed snake lord's venom. Tang Ao and Su Ning had both been injured by the golden-toothed snake lord's venom. Tang Ao had removed his eyes in time. Although he wasn't able to completely avoid the venom, he was able to expel most of the venom from the golden-toothed snake lord's body. As for Su Ning, the venom had spread throughout her body. When Su Ning heard the three-tailed snow wolf call Lu Lingxian Big Sister Lu, she followed suit and called Lu Lingxian Big Sister Lu. Big Sister Lu, am I going to die? Su Ning suddenly asked Lu Lingxian as Lu Lingxian carried Su Ning onto a piece of fur. Lu Lingxian caressed Su Ning's forehead and said, "The golden-toothed snake lord's venom has spread throughout your body. If we want to expel the venom from your body, we need a medicinal ingredient. I know where it is, but I can't get it." Lu Lingxian wanted to continue, but Su Ning's weak voice interrupted her. "Big Sister Lu, Senior Tang Ao's eyes are gone. Can I transplant my eyes to him?" Su Ning tilted her head slightly. At this moment, the blood from Tang Ao's eyes had stopped flowing, but there were still 2 ghastly wounds. Hearing Su Ning's words, Lu Lingxian nodded. Organ transplants weren't some profound spirit technique. With Lu Lingxuan's skills, she could do it easily. However, Lu Lingxian didn't want Su Ning to die like this. Although she had only just met Su Ning, she didn't know why, but she liked Su Ning very much. Seeing Lu Lingxian nod, Su Ning was very happy. "Big Sister Lu, then why don't you transplant my eyes to senior brother Tang Ao? He became like this because he saved me." At this time, the Snow Wolf came over and said, "Big Sister Lu, what medicine do we need to save Big Sister Su Ning?" Big Sister Su Ning and Tang Ao became like this because they saved me. Also, I still need to sign a spirit beast contract with Big Sister Su Ning. You must save her. Lu Lingxian also wanted to agree to the Snow Wolf's request, but there was nothing he could do. Just now, the Snow Wolf had given Lu Lingxian a simple explanation of what had happened. Thus, Lu Lingxian knew that Tang Ao and Su Ning were not bad people. Thus, Lu Lingxian felt that he should help them. However, facing Su Ning's injuries, Lu Lingxian was powerless. Lu Lingxian looked at Tang Ao and Su Ning, then thought back to what the Snow Wolf had said. It seemed that Tang Ao's strength was not ordinary. If that was the case, perhaps there was a chance that Su Ning could be saved. Thinking of this, Lu Lingxian decided to transplant Su Ning's eyes to Tang Ao. Then, he would purge Tang Ao's body of the poison and let Tang Ao go to the Shinong ruins to find Shinong grass. Chapter 474. Lu Lingxian brought Tang Ao and Su Ning together and sat down between them. The Shinong ruins had a natural illusion array. Soul power could not be used in the Shinong ruins. If one used their soul power in the Shinong ruins, they would be confused by the illusion array. Therefore, if Tang Ao wanted to help Su Ning enter the Shinong ruins to find the Shinong grass, he had to transplant Su Ning's eyes to Tang Ao. Otherwise, Tang Ao, who had lost his eyes, would find it difficult to move in the Shinong ruins, let alone find the Shinong grass. Lu Lingxian sat between Su Ning and Tang Ao, then gave Su Ning a heartwarming smile. "Sister Su Ning, I will now transplant your eyes to your senior Tang Ao. After the transplant, I will use Millennium Mystic Ice to seal you in ice. This will slow down the spread of the poison in your body and its corrosion." Su Ning nodded. At that moment, Su Ning felt very weak. She did not even have the strength to speak. Su Ning did not know if she could survive this. Therefore, Su Ning wanted to give her eyes to Tang Ao before she died. Ever since entering the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, Su Ning had experienced many things. However, because Tang Ao had always been by Su Ning's side, Su Ning had always been happy. If she was no longer around, Su Ning hoped that her eyes would always be with Tang Ao. "Sister Su Ning, I will begin." With that said, 12 silver needles appeared in Lu Lingxuan's hands. Lu Lingxian pierced the 12 needles into Tang Ao and Su Ning. Following that, a pale green light flashed in Lu Lingxuan's hands. A life soul that was similar to the Jade Bone Vitality life soul appeared. Although this life soul was extremely similar to the Jade Bone Vitality life soul, it was not the Jade Bone Vitality life soul. Lu Lingxuan's life soul was the Rejuvenation Myriad life soul from the 23rd heaven. Its effects and grade were similar to the Jade Bone life soul. However, the rejuvenation myriad life soul did not have the ability to split into child life souls. Of course, compared to the jade bone vitality life soul, the rejuvenation life soul also had its unique features. The jade bone life spirit was effective against human cultivators and demonic beasts. However, it was useless against demonic plants like Lu Lingxian. However, Lu Lingxuan's infinite rejuvenation life soul was different. It could be said that Lu Lingxuan's infinite rejuvenation life soul had an effect on all living things. With Lu Lingxuan's methods, transplanting Su Ning's eyes to Tang Ao did not take long. After transplanting Su Ning's eyes to Tang Ao, Lu Lingxian wanted to use thousand-year mystic ice to seal Su Ning in ice. However, the three-tailed snow wolf suddenly stopped Lu Lingxian. The three-tailed snow wolf moved to Su Ning's side. With a thought, a red runic magic array appeared between Su Ning and the three-tailed snow wolf. The three-tailed snow wolf pulled up Su Ning's hand and imprinted it on the runic array. Following that, it imprinted its claws on it. After doing all of this, the three-tailed snow wolf heaved a sigh of relief. However, not only did the runic array disappear, the one-tailed snow wolf also placed its tiny claws on the runic array. Following that, the runic array emitted a bright light, transforming into 3 red beams that entered Su Ning and the 2 snow wolves' bodies. Chapter 475. After transplanting Su Ning's eyes to Tang Ao, Lu Lingxian removed all the remaining poison in Tang Ao's body. While removing the remaining poison in Tang Ao's body, Lu Lingxian naturally discovered the jade bone life soul in Tang Ao's body. After seeing Tang Ao's jade bone life soul, Lu Lingxian was secretly surprised. Lu Lingxian had obtained the rejuvenation life soul for quite some time, but this was the first time he had seen a life soul similar to the rejuvenation life soul. After the remaining poison in Tang Ao's body was completely removed by Lu Lingxian, Tang Ao's injuries were gradually healed by the jade bone life soul. On the second day, when the sun shone into the snow cave, Tang Ao was awakened by the blinding sunlight. After waking up, Tang Ao opened his eyes. Although Tang Ao's eyes had been removed, Tang Ao clearly hadn't recalled this matter. However, the moment Tang Ao opened his eyes, he recalled that he had removed his eyes. However, the sun's radiance shone into Tang Ao's eyes. Tang Ao was alarmed as he hurriedly opened his eyes. Seeing everything around him, Tang Ao's heart was in turmoil. Tang Ao clearly remembered that his eyes had been removed after being corroded by Golden Fong Lord's venom. However, at this moment, Tang Ao could clearly see his surroundings. Could it be an illusion? Tang Ao thought to himself as he looked around. However, when Tang Ao felt that his soul power was flowing smoothly and his mind was unprecedentedly clear, he knew that he wasn't under an illusion. Did that mean that his eyes had recovered? According to the Heaven Evolution record, after the Jade Bone Vitality Life soul advanced to the 29th firmament, it could achieve the ability to revive the dead under certain circumstances. However, the Jade Bone Vitality Life soul was only at the 24th firmament. Even if it could repair Tang Ao's eyes, it was impossible for it to restore Tang Ao's eyes to their original state in such a short period of time. While Tang Ao was puzzled, a 3-tailed snow wolf, a 1-tailed snow wolf, and an extremely beautiful woman walked into the cave. Tang Ao knew about the 3-tailed snow wolf, and Tang Ao had also heard about the 1-tailed snow wolf from the 3-tailed snow wolf. However, Tang Ao had never seen the beautiful girl in the light green dress before. However, Tang Ao could clearly sense that this beautiful girl was actually at the 4th level of the Seas of Souls realm, which meant that her cultivation was 1 level higher than his. To be able to see through the opponent's strength with the naked eye, could it be? After seeing the green girl's cultivation, Tang Ao suddenly thought of something. Lu Lingxian saw Tang Ao's expression and thought that Tang Ao was confused about his eyes, so he explained to Tang Ao, "My name is Lu Lingxian." Before your junior sister fainted, she asked me to transplant her eyes to you. When Tang Ao heard that his eyes were indeed Su Ning's sky polar eyes, he suddenly had a bad premonition, so Tang Ao hurriedly interrupted Lu Lingxuan's words. So, my junior sister Su Ning has already. Tang Ao didn't finish because Tang Ao couldn't accept this fact. Su Ning was very timid, and she always did things in a submissive manner. However, Su Ning was very kind, and she didn't have the slightest bit of schemes. Whether it was the recipe of the 100-flower dew wine, the mysterious cold chi, or even the secret of the sky polar eyes, Su Ning told Tang Ao everything without holding anything back. Such a pure and innocent girl, Tang Ao had long since treated Su Ning as his own little sister. If anything happened to Su Ning, Tang Ao would definitely exterminate all the snake-type beasts in the underworld Emperor's secret realm. Chapter 476. There was an ice room in the snow cave. Right then, Tang Ao was standing in the ice room, looking at Su Ning. Su Ning had been sealed by Lu Lingxian with the 1,000-year mysterious ice. According to Lu Lingxian, the poison in Su Ning's body had spread all over her body. Only the Shennong grass in the Shennong ruins could cure Su Ning. Therefore, Tang Ao was going to leave for the Shennong ruins today to find the Shennong grass for Su Ning. Coincidentally, the Shennong ruins that Lu Lingxian mentioned was actually the heritage site left by the astral-reaching realm warrior that Thunder Cloud had invited Tang Ao. However, because of a series of things that had happened, Tang Ao had not been able to enter the Shennong ruins as soon as it opened. Tang Ao had been unconscious for 5 days after being poisoned, and it had already been 7 days since the opening of the ruins. Although Tang Ao was desperate to find the Shennong grass, Tang Ao did not leave immediately. According to Lu Lingxian, she had been trapped in the Shennong ruins for 20 years, and she still had not found the Shennong grass. Lu Lingxian was a Seas of Souls realm level 4 warrior, while Thunder Cloud and the rest were only at the first level. Tang Ao did not think that what Lu Lingxian could not do, Thunder Cloud and the rest would be able to do in 7 days. Therefore, Tang Ao sat right next to Su Ning. Tang Ao was going to leave for the Shennong ruins after he had done all the preparations. For the heritage site left by the astral-reaching realm warrior, Tang Ao would never think that it was too much preparation. Plus, no matter what Tang Ao did, it would never be enough. In his previous life, the astral-reaching realm was the highest level that Tang Ao had reached. Therefore, Tang Ao had a better understanding of the astral-reaching realm warriors. There was a huge gap between the astral-reaching realm warriors and the Seas of Souls realm warriors. Even for the fallen astral-reaching realm warriors, the skills left behind were not something that a Seas of Souls realm warrior could handle. Therefore, Tang Ao had to raise his own strength to ensure that he could obtain the Shennong grass in the Shennong ruins and escape unscathed. As for the layout of the Shennong historical remnant, Lu Lingxian had explored it for 20 years. Thus, Lu Lingxian had given Tang Ao a map of the areas that Lu Lingxian had explored. With this map, Tang Ao would naturally be able to avoid many detours. What Tang Ao needed to do now was to improve his abilities in all aspects. A warrior's battle prowess was determined by various factors: the strength of cultivation techniques and martial skills, the help of spirit weapons and divine weapons, and the support of life spirits all had a great impact on a warrior's battle prowess. Other than the first time, the decisive factor in a martial artist's strength was the level of the martial artist's own cultivation. In terms of cultivation methods and martial techniques, Tang Ao cultivated the ancient god moving sky technique and the 7-killing sacred Tao. In Tang Ao's opinion, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to find any books that were more powerful than these 2 sets of cultivation methods and martial techniques in the entire black-yellow continent. As for body constitution, Tang Ao already had the rare hidden jade body in the stone. Right now, he even had the legendary sky extreme pupils. Although Tang Ao would return the sky extreme pupils to Su Ning after the poison in her body was cleared, Tang Ao would be able to use the sky extreme pupils during this exploration of the Shenong ruins. Besides cultivation techniques and body constitution, Tang Ao's awakened life spirit was also extremely powerful. Therefore, as long as Tang Ao could make a breakthrough in his cultivation as soon as possible, he could immediately leave for the Shenong ruins. Chapter 477. Originally, when Tang Ao was at the third level of the Sea of Souls realm, he was able to fight evenly with the snake. But now that Tang Ao had reached the fourth level, Tang Ao had 90% confidence that he could kill the snake. The next time Tang Ao ran into the snake, it would be the snake's death. Tang Ao had always been clear about gratitude and grudges. He would definitely repay kindness and enmity. The snake and Snake Man had damaged Tang Ao's eyes and almost killed Su Ning. Therefore they had to die. When Tang Ao walked out of the ice room, he ran into the three-tailed snow wolf and Lu Lingxian. At this moment, Lu Lingxian was sitting around a campfire with his three-tailed snow wolf and one-tailed snow wolf, roasting meat. Not only was there no day or night in the underworld Emperor's secret realm, even the weather was irregular. Just a few days ago, the underworld Emperor mystic domain was still bright and sunny. But now, snowflakes were falling from the sky. Tang Ao, are you going to the Shen Nong secret realm? The three-tailed snow wolf saw Tang Ao walk out of the ice room and asked expectantly. Although the three-tailed snow wolf couldn't see Tang Ao's true strength, it could clearly sense that Tang Ao's aura had become stronger. According to Lu Lingxian, the Shen Nong ruins was full of danger, and there were many powerful tomb-guarding beasts. And because Lu Lingxian was not good at fighting, he had only explored the outside of the ruins. Compared to Lu Lingxian, Golden Tooth Snake Man was much more unlucky. When he accidentally entered the ruins, he was immediately targeted by a few powerful tomb-guarding beasts. Therefore, he had been chased by the tomb-guarding beasts for the past 20 years, and did not have the time to explore the ruins at all. Therefore, although Golden Tooth Snake Man was powerful, his gains in the ruins were not as much as Lu Lingxuan's. Although Lu Lingxian had the power of the fourth level of the Sea of Souls realm, his fighting power was not even close to that of the three-tailed snow wolf. His true form was Yu Lu, and he specialized in healing but not fighting. Thus, in the 20 years that Lu Lingxian had spent in the Shenong historical remnant, he had only explored the outer regions of the Shenong historical remnant. If he were to venture deeper into the Shenong historical remnant, Lu Lingxuan's strength would be insufficient. Tang Ao saw that the three-tailed snow wolf and the one-tailed snow wolf had a spirit contract mark on their foreheads that had yet to disappear. It was clear that the three-tailed snow wolf and one-tailed snow wolf had formed a spirit beast contract with Su Ning. Tang Ao was very satisfied with this. Do you two have names? Tang Ao asked the three-tailed snow wolf and the one-tailed snow wolf. Since the three-tailed snow wolf and the one-tailed snow wolf had formed a spiritual beast contract with Su Ning, it was time to give them a name. The three-tailed snow wolf shook her head. Demonic beasts clearly did not have the habit of giving themselves names before they transformed, and the one-tailed snow wolf could actually understand Tang Ao's words. She came before Tang Ao and whimpered twice, but Tang Ao did not know what she was trying to express. Right then, Lu Lingxian said, "We have always called them Xiao Shui and Xiao Rou, but they do not have a surname. If we want to give them names, we can just add a surname. Since that is the case, you two can follow Sister Su Ning's surname Su. Su Shui, Su Rou." Tang Ao repeated it twice, thinking that the two names sounded quite nice. Following that, Tang Ao said to Su Shui and Su Rou, "When I go to the Shenong ruins this time, I will also pay attention to helping you find the shape-shifting grass. Before I return, I will leave junior sister Su Ning in your hands." Chapter 478. The cave they were in was extremely far away from Golden Tooth Snake Man's territory, so there was no need for Tang Ao to avoid him. Right now, Tang Ao was only at the 4th level of Sea of Soul's realm, while Golden Tooth Snake Man was at the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Therefore, Tang Ao did not plan to take revenge yet. When Tang Ao was only at the 3rd level of Sea of Soul's realm, if Tang Ao and Golden Tooth Snake Man fought, even if Tang Ao was not killed instantly, he would not be able to escape unscathed. Therefore, Tang Ao used the Mora Bone Dagger to wound the silver-tooth poisonous Snake Man and escaped with the three-tailed Snow Wolf and Su Ning when Golden Tooth Snake Man was distracted. Otherwise, if Tang Ao and Golden Toothed Snake Lord had started fighting, Tang Ao and the other two would not have been able to leave Golden Toothed Snake Lord's territory. Right now, although Tang Ao had reached the 4th level of Sea of Soul's realm, Tang Ao still did not want to fight Golden Tooth Snake Man head-on. Although Tang Ao's body and life spirit were powerful, the 3 levels difference between Tang Ao and Golden Tooth Snake Man was still not small. With Tang Ao's power, fighting at the 3rd level would not be a problem. However, if he were to fight at the 3rd level, he would be overestimating himself. Of course, if Tang Ao encountered an opponent from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing in the Shen Nong ruins, and he could not escape, Tang Ao would not just stand there and wait to be captured. After leaving the snow cave, Tang Ao didn't fly all the way to the Shen Nong ruins. There were too many powerful monsters in the forest. Although Tang Ao wasn't afraid of them, he didn't want to cause any trouble on his way to the Shen Nong ruins. Moreover, there were many beasts in this forest that were not weak, but had low intelligence. If Tang Ao flew in the sky, it would be hard to guarantee that these beasts would not attack Tang Ao. Thus, Tang Ao followed the map that Lu Lingxian had given him and took the mountain path to the Shennong historical remnant. After breaking through to the 4th level of the Sea of Soul's realm, Tang Ao could naturally challenge higher-level life souls. However, Tang Ao didn't have a life soul he liked at the moment. Furthermore, time was of the essence, so Tang Ao didn't head to the Kiliacosm to awaken a life soul. Normally, a martial artist at the 4th level of the Spirit Sea realm could control a life spirit from the 23rd heaven. However, Tang Ao now had 2 23rd firmament life souls. The Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul and the Mulla Bone Dagger Life Soul, as well as a Battle Sage Bone Life Soul from the 24th firmament. At this moment, Tang Ao also wanted to advance the Green Lotus Sword Spirit to the 23rd level. This way, the Green Lotus Sword Spirit would be even more powerful. However, what was more frustrating was that the advancement of a life soul was also something that could only be encountered and not sought. Even the Heaven's evolution records only stated that a life soul could advance, but as for how a life soul could advance, the Heaven's evolution records didn't mention it. Currently, the Heaven's evolution records recorded a few life soul advancement methods, which were added by Tang Ao. Tang Ao had a feeling that the hexagram mirror had passed the Heaven's evolution records to him so that he could completely fill in the various life soul advancement method. This was a great and sacred mission, but Tang Ao still liked it when the predecessors completed the Heaven's evolution records. It would be even better if Tang Ao could directly use it. However, Tang Ao could only think about it himself, because until now, there were many life souls that were not recorded in the Heaven's evolution records. Chapter 479. In Tang Ao's previous life, he had never seen a way to use a life soul like this. In this life, Tang Ao had only recently seen a way to use a life soul, but Tang Ao did not know how it worked. The silver fang snake that Tang Ao had fought was only a monster at the 4th level of the Sea of Soul's realm, but the life soul it used was a life soul projection from the 30th level. The life soul projection was not a real life soul, but the silver fang snake's life soul was comparable to Tang Ao's 24th level Battle Saint Bone life soul, which was enough to show how powerful it was. There was no free lunch in the world, so Tang Ao did not believe that there were no hidden dangers in using power like this. Although Tang Ao did not know the consequences of using an unawakened life soul, Tang Ao believed that he would have to pay a heavy price for using power that did not belong to him. Although Tang Ao did not fly directly to the Shinong ruins from the sky, Tang Ao's speed in the forest was not slow at all. At that moment, the 7 green lotus swords behind Tang Ao flew up and down, shooting into the bushes on both sides of the road from time to time, leaving a trail of blood. In the bushes, the fanged snakes were also cut in half by Tang Ao's green lotus sword. As Su Ning's cultivation was too low, Su Ning's sky polar pupil did not have much power when Su Ning used it. But now, after Su Ning's sky polar pupil was transplanted to Tang Ao could clearly feel the horror of the sky polar pupil. As Tang Ao was not born with the sky polar pupil, Tang Ao felt a little awkward when he first used it. But as Tang Ao continued to use the sky polar pupil, the power of the sky polar pupil was slowly discovered by Tang Ao. The reason why Tang Ao didn't fly directly to the Shinong ruins was not only because he didn't want to attract too much attention, but also because Tang Ao wanted to train his sky polarity eyes. Under the sky polar eyes, the surrounding environment became incomparably clear. Furthermore, when the sky polar eyes were activated, he could clearly sense the flow of spiritual energy and the amount of spiritual energy within a monster's body. From there, he could determine the strength of a monster. Of course, if the demonic beast also had the invisible jade and stone body, Tang Ao reckoned that even the sky polarity eyes would not be able to detect its true strength. At the moment, these were only the most basic auxiliary abilities of the sky polar pupil. The true power of the sky polar pupil lay in its terrifying destructive power. Tang Ao was now ready to test how strong the sky polar pupil was. Tang Ao walked through the jungle for a while, and finally found a suitable opponent. It was a double-winged bone tiger with the strength of the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm, and at the moment, it was chasing a group of escaping warriors. This group of warriors consisted of 3 men and 2 women, all of whom were at the 2nd level of the Sea of Souls realm. However, the 5 of them worked extremely well together. Therefore, although their strength was not as good as this double-winged bone tiger, the 5 of them were fighting and retreating at the same time, making it hard for the bone-winged bone tiger to hurt them. Moreover, on the surface, the 5 of them were gradually gaining the upper hand in the continuous battle with the bone-winged bone tiger. But Tang Ao knew that this advantage was only temporary. The amount of spirit power stored inside a 4th level Sea of Souls realm demonic beast would be even more than 5 2nd level Sea of Souls realm martial artists combined together. And the way the 5 of them were fighting was obviously because they wanted to exhaust the bone-winged bone tiger's spiritual energy. They wanted to use the advantage of numbers to exhaust the bone-winged bone tiger's spiritual energy. Chapter 480. Many times, human warriors would make an unavoidable mistake when battling demonic beasts, and that was to believe that demonic beasts were stupid, thus neglecting the intelligence of most demonic beasts. Normally, once a demonic beast reached the Sea of Soul realm, its intelligence would not lose out to human warriors even if it hadn't transformed yet. The 3-tailed snow wolf and silver-toothed viper that Tang Ao had encountered not long ago were good examples. As for Tang Huer, Tang Ao could only say that she was a special case. After all, there were also stupid human warriors. Tang Ao's thoughts were naturally unknown to Tang Huer, who was outside the underworld Emperor Mountain range. At this moment, there were 12 fire dragon fruits placed neatly in front of Tang Huer. These 12 fire dragon fruits were naturally obtained by Tang Huer from the group of unlucky people in front of her. In the beginning, there was a group of warriors who coveted Lu Hanxiu's beauty, but they were taught a lesson by Tang Huer. She also found 2 fire dragon fruits on them. Therefore, Tang Heuer had a flash of inspiration and thought of a great plan to get rich. After Tang Heuer asked a few people, she found out that these fire dragon fruits were produced in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range. Lu Hanxiu originally thought that Tang Heuer would personally enter the underworld Emperor Mountain Range to search for the fire dragon fruit. Who would have thought that the troublemaker Tang Heuer would actually have such a devious idea? Not only did Tang Heuer not personally enter the mountain to search for the fire dragon fruits, she even blocked the only path connecting the mountain to the outside world. After blocking the path, Tang Heuer began to collect the toll fee. No matter who it was, as long as they came out of Underworld Emperor Mountain, Tang Heuer would ask for a fire dragon fruit. If they gave Tang Heuer a fire dragon fruit, she would let them go. If they didn't, they wouldn't be able to leave. Tang Heuer's actions naturally attracted everyone's attention. Therefore, a few first and second level Sea of Souls realm warriors banded together, wanting to teach her a lesson. But, in the end, under the threat of Tang Heuer's powerful strength from the 5th floor of Linghaijing, they all rejoiced that they didn't make a move. At the same time, they returned to the underworld Emperor Mountain Range to find the fire dragon fruit for Tang Heuer. The fire dragon fruit wasn't common in the underworld Emperor Mystic Realm. However, there was a special region in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range that produced the fire dragon fruit. There were many opportunities in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range. Originally, not many people were willing to go there to collect the fire dragon fruit. But now, no matter who wanted to leave the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm, they had to head here to pluck a fire dragon fruit. The entrance to the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range opened once a month. Without the fire dragon fruit and being unable to defeat Tang Heuer, he would have to wait for the next time to leave the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range. However, after everyone saw a famous 4th level Sea of Souls realm warrior being beaten into a pig's head by Tang Heuer, no one else wanted to force their way out of the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range. The area where the fire dragon fruit grew had also become a path that everyone had to pass through. Tang Ao had been in the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range for a while now. Therefore, Tang Ao still didn't know what had happened at the entrance of the mountain range. Although Tang Ao would also feel that Tang Heuer had done a good job if he knew, if Tang Ao was right beside her, he would definitely use some more ingenious methods to achieve the same result. For example, the disciples of the Dragon Transformation Pavilion blocking the entrance of the Underworld Emperor Mountain Range and collecting tolls from everyone. Chapter 481. Tang Ao had been observing from afar. Naturally, he could see that this double-winged bone-winged tiger had a thick skin. When ordinary attacks were launched at the double-winged bone-winged tiger, most of the time, the double-winged bone-winged tiger didn't dodge the spiritual power attacks and charged at them. Fortunately, although they had wrongly estimated the strength of the double-winged bone-winged tiger, the cooperation between them was extremely tacit. Once the double-winged bone-winged tiger launched an attack at one of them, the remaining 4 would attack the double-winged bone-winged tiger with all their might, forcing the double-winged bone-winged tiger to stop its attack. It was also under the close cooperation of the 4 that the team hadn't suffered too many serious casualties until now, although the 4 of them might not be the double-winged bone-winged tiger's opponent. The double-winged bone-winged tiger was a beast at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm, and the 5 people fighting it were all at the 2nd level of the Sea of Souls realm. If it were an ordinary 2nd level Sea of Souls realm martial artist, they would have run long ago when facing a horrifying existence like the double-winged bone-winged tiger. Among these 5 people, although they couldn't win, they could still delay the double-winged bone-winged tiger. However, if any of the 5 people were missing, the rest of the team would be in danger. Because other than the 5 people working together, whether it was 4 or 3 people, they were definitely not the opponent of the double-winged bone-winged tiger. Regardless of whether it was Tang Ao or the 5 martial artists, they all understood this very well. Even the double-winged bone-winged tiger probably thought of this. Therefore, the double-winged bone-winged tiger had been thinking of killing any one of the 5 people. However, what made the double-winged bone-winged tiger more distressed was that the 5 martial artists were working together so closely that it didn't have a chance to make a move. At this moment, the double-winged bone-winged tiger, which was not weak in the first place, suddenly thought of something. Therefore, in the next attack of the double-winged bone-winged tiger, the double-winged bone-winged tiger deliberately slowed down a lot. Seeing that the double-winged bone-winged tiger's movement had slowed down, the 5 people were overjoyed. The double-winged bone-winged tiger's movement had become so slow, obviously because the spiritual power in its body was almost consumed. Just now, they were prepared to consume the double-winged bone-winged tiger's spiritual power before killing this double-winged bone-winged tiger that had devoured many martial artists. But just now their own spiritual power was almost exhausted, but the double-winged bone-winged tiger did not show any signs of fatigue. This made everyone suspect that the spiritual power stored in their bodies was too different from the spiritual power stored in the double-winged bone-winged tiger. While everyone was puzzled, the exceptionally ferocious bone-winged bone tiger finally showed signs of fatigue. Even its movements became slow. This transformation of the double-winged bone-winged tiger, everyone saw it with their eyes. Thus, the few of them guessed that the double-winged bone-winged tiger that had been rampaging around had finally collapsed under the combined efforts of the 5 of them. Seeing the state the double-winged skeletal-winged tiger was in, none of them wanted to miss out on such a great opportunity. Thus, the 5 of them instantly arrived beside the double-winged skeletal-winged tiger, prepared to use this final attack to kill it. When Tang Ao saw this from the side, he wanted to stop it, but it was too late. Therefore, Tang Ao could only rush over without hesitation. He wanted to save them before the bone-winged tiger injured them. Chapter 482. Tang Ao did not know any of the warriors in front of him. The reason why he helped them was just a small effort. Moreover, saving a life was better than building a 7-storied pagoda. Although Tang Ao was not a good person, he was definitely not a bad person. Otherwise, Tang Ao would not have fallen into Qin Yueshuang's trap. The double-winged bone tiger was a 4th-level Sea of Souls realm beast, and Tang Ao was also at the 4th level. Against this double-winged bone tiger, Tang Ao could be said to be evenly matched. If it was Tang Ao's usual fighting style, he would definitely summon the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit to fight this double-winged bone tiger in close combat. But this time, Tang Ao wanted to familiarize himself with the power of the Sky Polar Eyes. After this trip to the Shenong ruins, Tang Ao would definitely return the Sky Polar Eyes to Su Ning. But before that, the Sky Polar Eyes would also be a great help to Tang Ao. According to Lu Lingxian, there was a powerful illusion array in the Shenong ruins. Therefore, Tang Ao's extremely powerful soul power perception would not be of much use in the ruins. On the other hand, the Sky Polar Eyes could be very useful in the Shenong ruins. Therefore, before entering the Shenong ruins, Tang Ao still had to completely master the usage of the Sky Polar Eyes. That way, not only would it increase the success rate of this trip to the Shenong ruins, but Tang Ao could also teach Su Ning how to cultivate the Sky Polar Eyes in the future. Therefore, after Tang Ao blocked the double-winged bone tiger's claw, he immediately retreated. After Tang Ao stabilized himself, he wanted the other 4 to move aside. But in the end, Tang Ao found that among the 5 warriors, only 2 remained. The other 3 had escaped the moment Tang Ao blocked the double-winged bone tiger. Seeing this, Tang Ao was speechless. He had stepped forward bravely to save them, but they had fled without even saying a word of thanks. There were still 2 people left among the 5. One was a middle-aged martial artist who had been smashed into a pile of rotten meat by the bone-winged tiger, and the other was a young girl dressed in a plain white dress. When Tang Ao turned his head, he saw the astonishment in the young girl's eyes. Clearly, the young girl hadn't expected that her companions would be so straightforward, leaving her and Tang Ao behind. When the girl saw Tang Ao looking at her, she hurriedly waved at Tang Ao. "Don't worry. I'm not the same as those guys who have no sense of loyalty. I'll wait for the double-winged bone-winged tiger to slap you to death before I escape." After the girl finished speaking, she took a few steps back. Clearly, she had no intention of joining forces with Tang Ao to fight the enemy. When Tang Ao heard the first half of the girl's sentence, he felt that this girl was not bad. But, when he heard the second half, Tang Ao even had the intention of summoning his Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit and leaving. Although this young girl in white dress was a bit far from the bone-winged tiger, with her Sea of Souls realm's second-level cultivation, once Tang Ao escaped, she would definitely become the bone-winged tiger's side dish. Fortunately, Tang Ao was in need of a powerful opponent like the bone-winged tiger to practice his sky polar eyes. Otherwise, Tang Ao might really run away. The sudden appearance of Tang Ao had also startled the bone-winged tiger. Just now, the bone-winged tiger had purposely revealed an opening, wanting to lure the 5 human warriors into a trap. In the end, its plan had only succeeded halfway, and it was about to kill the 5 human warriors when Tang Ao suddenly jumped out and ruined its plan. Right then, the bone-winged tiger was extremely angry, but it still looked at Tang Ao calmly. Chapter 483. As the double-winged bone-winged tiger looked at Tang Ao vigilantly, Tang Ao's powerful soul power swept out from all directions like a tide. Tang Ao didn't know much about sky polarity eyes, so when he used them against an enemy, Tang Ao had to be extra careful. If he just wanted to practice using sky polarity eyes, Tang Ao could find some weak monsters to practice on. There was no need to challenge a strong monster like the double-winged bone-winged tiger right from the start. However, Tang Ao's purpose was not just to practice the usage of the sky polar pupils. What Tang Ao wanted was for the sky polar pupils to be useful in future battles, and not only when dealing with weak demonic beasts. If he only wanted to deal with weak monsters, Tang Ao could just use the Green Lotus Sword Soul to use 7-kill Holy Road. The power of Sky Polarity Eyes was said to be very scary, but Su Ning's power was too low. So, when Su Ning used Sky Polarity Eyes several times, she couldn't bring out the full power of Sky Polarity Eyes. Now that Su Ning had transplanted Sky Polarity Eyes to Tang Ao wanted to see how powerful this legendary Sky Polarity Eyes could be. Unlike the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul, which could only be used in close combat, Sky Polarity Eyes was a long-range attack. So, Tang Ao's body jumped back twice, and he pulled away from the double-winged bone-winged tiger. Seeing Tang Ao keep pulling away from the double-winged bone-winged tiger, Bai Wei was a little worried. From Bai Wei's point of view, Tang Ao kept pulling away from the double-winged bone-winged tiger because he knew he wasn't a match for it, and he was ready to run. Thinking of this, Bai Wei hesitated for a moment, but she still drew out 2 daggers from her waist. She and Tang Ao formed a triangle to block the bone-winged tiger. Bai Wei's action shocked Tang Ao. Tang Ao had no intention of asking for Bai Wei's help. Right now, Tang Ao was using Sky Polarity Eyes to kill the bone-winged tiger. But what surprised Tang Ao was that Bai Wei did not run away. Instead, she decided to stay and fight alongside him. Although Tang Ao did not need Bai Wei's help, Bai Wei's actions warmed Tang Ao's heart. It should be known that the beast in front of him was not a normal beast. It was the famous peak level 4th level double-winged bone-winged tiger. Although Tang Ao was not afraid of it at all, Tang Ao was not sure if he could take it down. When Tang Ao was at the 3rd level of Seas of Souls realm, he could even fight against most of the 4th level human warriors. And now that Tang Ao had reached the 4th level, there were very few 4th level Seas of Souls realm warriors that were worth Tang Ao's attention. However, This peak level 4th level double-winged bone-winged tiger was obviously not one of them. Therefore, while Tang Ao was very touched, he also asked Bai Wei to back off. Otherwise, when Tang Ao battled with the double-winged bone-winged tiger, he would be restricted because of Bai Wei. Sister disciple, I appreciate your kindness, but you better step aside or else you might get hurt. As Tang Ao talked to Bai Wei, he looked at the bone-winged tiger with caution. The double-winged bone-winged tiger did not take the initiative to attack. Tang Ao gave the double-winged bone-winged tiger a very dangerous and delicious feeling. Thus, the double-winged bone-winged tiger wanted to find Tang Ao's flaws and kill him in one strike. Chapter 484. Hearing Tang Ao's words, Bai Wei sighed inwardly. It seemed that no matter where or when, male warriors would always try to please beauties. Compared to Luo Tsai and Lu Hanxiu, Bai Wei was not very pretty, but her body was very impressive. Obviously, this was one of the reasons why she was so confident. Although Bai Wei wanted to run, Bai Wei was worried that if she did, Tang Ao would escape. If that happened, Bai Wei would have to deal with the bone-winged tiger all by herself. Of course, Bai Wei could also take the chance to run, and the bone tiger might not chase after her. But if she wanted to run, she would have run with her other 3 companions. The reason why she was still here was because she had a purpose. In the underworld Emperor Mountain, there were many beasts above the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm. But among these beasts, some were priceless like the shadow leopard, and some were like the poisonous fang snake. They were not weak, but did not have many valuable materials on them. If it were a 4th level Sea of Souls realm warrior like Tang Ao, it would be fine, as he could easily kill a 9th level origin martial realm poisonous fang snake. If a martial artist of the 9th level of the origin realm fought against a poisonous fanged snake and fought with his life and death to finally kill the poisonous fanged snake, but in the end, the poisonous fanged snake didn't have any useful materials. At that time, he would want to cry but no tears would come out. However, the bone tiger in front of Tang Ao was one of the most valuable beasts among the many 4th level Sea of Souls realm beasts. Therefore, although the bone tiger was quite powerful, almost all warriors would be tempted when they saw it. The pair of bone wings of the double-winged bone-winged tiger could be refined into a flying spirit treasure, and the bones of the double-winged bone-winged tiger were also very good refining materials. Apart from that, the flesh of the bone tiger was also very nutritious. After eating it, warriors could strengthen their bodies and bones. Even the whiskers of the double-winged bone-winged tiger were rare elixirs. It could be said that this terrifying double-winged bone-winged tiger was simply a moving treasure mountain. It was just that this treasure mountain was too dangerous, and it was unknown how many people had lost their lives because of this treasure mountain. When the double-winged bone-winged tiger saw that Tang Ao did not move, it slowly walked to the warrior that it had killed not long ago. It opened its bloody mouth and bit down on the warrior. Seeing this scene, Tang Ao remained unmoved. His eyes were still fixed on the double-winged bone-winged tiger. Tang Ao was looking for the most suitable opportunity to attack. As for the double-winged bone-winged tiger's actions, it could not affect Tang Ao's state of mind at all. Tang Ao did not move, but Bai Wei, who was next to Tang Ao, could not help but puke. Bai Wei had trained to the 2nd level of the Sea of Souls realm, so of course, he had killed a lot of enemies as well. But this was the first time Bai Wei had seen a beast eat a human warrior. And this warrior had been with Bai Wei for 3 months, and he had a good impression of Bai Wei. Although Bai Wei was not interested in this person, she did not hate him either. When he was killed by the bone tiger, Bai Wei felt a bit sad. Right then, seeing the bone tiger eat his body, Bai Wei's body could not help but shake a little. Bai Wei even thought that if he was killed by this fierce bone tiger, would he end up the same way. Chapter 485. The power of the second level of the Sea of Souls realm was not that powerful in the underworld Emperor Mountain. But, compared to human warriors, when most of them were still in the Yuan martial realm, the second level of the Sea of Souls realm was already very powerful. Therefore, Bai Wei and the other four had also set their sights on the more profitable prey. Right now, the bone-winged tiger that was fighting with Tang Ao did not have any conflict with Bai Wei and the other four. The double-winged bone-winged tiger was only chasing a few Origin Realm martial artists, and Bai Wei and the others were only passing by. However, after the five of them saw the double-winged bone-winged tiger, their greed rose and they killed the four Origin Realm martial artists that the double-winged bone-winged tiger was chasing. After that, they overestimated themselves and wanted to kill the double-winged bone-winged tiger. However, their thinking was too simple. The bone-winged tiger was not as weak as they thought, which was why the scene that Tang Ao had just seen happened. The teeth of the bone-winged tiger were extremely sharp. Therefore, in just a short while, it had already eaten half of the warrior's body. Crunching sounds kept coming out of the bone-winged tiger's bloody mouth, which was then transmitted to Tang Ao and Bai Wei's ears. Tang Ao was the reincarnation of a demon king, and he had experienced countless life and death battles in this life. This kind of scene was really normal for Tang Ao. The path of martial arts was always hard and cruel. Without enough awareness, one would not be able to achieve much in martial art. During a warrior's training resources were indeed very important. But, when a warrior wanted to get them, they would not do anything to achieve their goal. Tang Ao was aware of the value of the double-winged bone-winged tiger, but he did not covet the materials on the double-winged bone-winged tiger. If the fourth-level Sea of Souls realm beast that Tang Ao was facing was not the priceless bone-winged tiger, but the useless silver-toothed snake, then Tang Ao might have already started to attack. Even if he had to pay a price for taking the initiative to attack, Tang Ao still had to kill the silver-toothed viper here. However, at this moment, Tang Ao was facing the double-winged bone-winged tiger. Although the double-winged bone-winged tiger was full of treasures, there was no need for Tang Ao to put himself in danger. Therefore, Tang Ao wanted to use the safest method to kill this ferocious double-winged bone-winged tiger. With Tang Ao's current strength, there were only two ways to achieve this. The first was to use the shooting sun divine bow to kill the double-winged bone-winged tiger from a long distance. Moreover, the silver feather arrow needed to be imbued with the terrifying might of a hexagram mirror. Although the oppressive aura of the Dragon Clan in the silver feather arrow was not bad, it paled in comparison to the oppressive aura of the six-light mirror. The second method was to use the sky polar pupils that Su Ning had transplanted into Tang Ao. The sky polarity eyes didn't increase a martial artist's cultivation by much, but the sky polarity eyes was known for its offensive power. However, because Su Ning had not grown up yet, the power of the sky polar pupils could not be used by Su Ning. However, compared to Su Ning's cultivation of the third level of the Origin martial realm, Tang Ao's cultivation of the fourth level of the Sea of Souls realm was way higher than Su Ning's. Although the fourth level of the Sea of Souls realm was not enough for him to use the full power of the sky polar pupils, he could at least use part of its power. After Tang Ao connected with the sky polar pupils, beams of blue light shone out of the pupils. Chapter 486. Activating the special pupil of the sky polar eyes was the most basic requirement to use the sky polar eyes. Tang Ao wasn't born with the sky polar eyes, so Tang Ao wasn't sure if he could use the sky polar eyes. Tang Ao's sky polar eyes were transplanted from Su Ning to Tang Ao, and Su Ning and Tang Ao weren't related by blood. Under such circumstances, Tang Ao didn't know if he could use the sky polar eyes. But now, under Tang Ao's control, Tang Ao was relieved after activating the sky polar eyes. Under the dual effects of the hidden jade in stone and the jade bone life soul, Tang Ao's body had adapted to the sky polar eyes, so he could use the Sky Polar Eyes. The Sky Polar Eyes was recognized as the constitution with the strongest attack power. In the legends of the Black-Yellow Continent, every possessor of the Sky Polar Eyes would eventually become an all-powerful existence. Therefore, Tang Ao was now prepared to let the ferocious double-winged skeletal tiger experience the power of the Sky Polar Eyes. Moreover, Tang Ao wanted to explore more of the Sky Polar Eyes' abilities. Tang Ao had the powerful constitution of the hidden jade in stone, so his comprehension of martial arts techniques, life souls, and spirit weapons were frighteningly high. Therefore, although Tang Ao wasn't born with the Sky Polar Eyes, he was able to activate the Sky Polar Eyes the first time he used it. This was extremely rare in the history of the Black-Yellow Continent. After activating the Sky Polar Eyes, Tang Ao instantly understood one of the abilities of the Sky Polar Eyes. Although the Sky Polar Eyes in Tang Ao's eyes belonged to Su Ning, when Tang Ao used it, the Sky Polar Eyes awakened another ability called the Purple Electric Mystic Ice. Back when Su Ning used the Sky Polar Eyes, it had the ability to strengthen the Mystic Frost Chi. When Tang Ao froze the three-tailed snow wolf, Su Ning used this ability to help Tang Ao. When Tang Ao fought the Silverfang Viper, Su Ning also used the Sky Polar Eyes to freeze the Silverfang Viper's 3 balls of purple fire. However, after activating the Sky Polar Eyes, Tang Ao didn't learn that ability. Instead, he learned the other ability of the Sky Polar Eyes. Tang Ao's eyes were constantly converging with azure light, and the boundless soul power and spiritual power within his body were also rapidly decreasing. When Tang Ao executed the 7 slaughter sacred Tao, the spiritual power within his body wasn't consumed at such a high speed. As for soul power, none of the martial techniques and secret techniques that Tang Ao had mastered consumed soul power. When the Sky Polar Eyes absorbed Tang Ao's polar eyes, the spirit chi in his body wasn't consumed so quickly. As for polar eyes, none of the secret skills that Tang Ao had mastered so far consumed polar eyes. After the Sky Polar Eyes absorbed so much polar eyes from Tang Ao's polar eyes, a hard-to-detect cold air quietly gathered around the skeletal winged tiger. The cold air was very strong, but neither Bai Wei, who was next to Tang Ao, nor the bone-winged tiger, who was not far away, could detect it. In Bai Wei's eyes, the skeletal winged tiger was still devouring the bodies of its companions, and there was nothing around it. Although the double-winged skeletal winged tiger sensed the faint danger in its surroundings, it realized that there was nothing strange in its surroundings after a careful observation. So the skeletal winged tiger continued to eat, completely ignoring Tang Ao and Bai Wei. Chapter 487. Just as Tang Ao was marveling at the power of the Sky Polar Eyes, the double-winged bone-winged tiger's bell-like eyes suddenly revealed a fierce look. Then, the double-winged bone-winged tiger turned into a black line and pounced at Tang Ao. Tang Ao was waiting for the double-winged bone-winged tiger to relax its vigilance and reveal a flaw. The double-winged bone-winged tiger was also waiting for Tang Ao to relax his vigilance and reveal a flaw. However, the double-winged bone-winged tiger had yet to reveal any flaw, and Tang Ao was distracted by other things. It was also at this moment that the double-winged bone-winged tiger seized the opportunity and flew towards Tang Ao. The double-winged bone-winged tiger's sharp claws shone with a cold light. In the moment that Tang Ao was stunned, the double-winged bone-winged tiger clearly wanted to kill Tang Ao on the spot. Tang Ao originally wanted to carefully study the power of the Sky Polar Eyes. He did not expect the double-winged bone-winged tiger to be so impatient to start a fight. Since that was the case, Tang Ao would not be polite. Purple electric mysterious ice condense. After the double-winged bone-winged tiger leaped for a distance, dozens of purple electric icicles appeared beside the double-winged bone-winged tiger. Then, before the double-winged bone-winged tiger could react, these icicles instantly bombarded the double-winged bone-winged tiger. The double-winged bone-winged tiger's rushing figure was bombarded to the ground in an instant. With a dull bang, the double-winged bone-winged tiger was bombarded to the ground by Tang Ao's purple electric mysterious ice. Although they had only exchanged blows for one round, the double-winged bone-winged tiger that was in high spirits and incomparably fierce just now had become extremely embarrassed at this moment. Many parts of its body were injured by Tang Ao's purple electric mysterious ice, and some parts were even oozing with blood. However, compared to a tough demon beast like the double-winged bone-winged tiger with coarse skin and thick flesh, these injuries were really insignificant. Although the injuries on its body were insignificant, the double-winged bone-winged tiger was unusually angry. In Tang Ao's opinion, there was nothing special about the fur of the double-winged bone-winged tiger, nor was it particularly beautiful. However, this double-winged skeletal-winged tiger treasured its fur very much. Therefore, after Tang Ao used the purple electric profound ice to damage its fur, the double-winged skeletal-winged tiger was thoroughly enraged. Seeing that the blow did not kill the bone-winged Ao, Tang Ao shook his head secretly. Although winged bone-winged Ao winged heaven, and wing heavens, Ao beast's wings, Ao dragon, Ao winged dragon, mysterious ice, white dragon, king, dragon, and winged Ao, heaved winged tiger, and king and Ao and dragon, Tang winged Ao. Although Tang Ao's previous attack did not finish off the double-winged bone-winged tiger, he still managed to comprehend a bit of the usage of the sky polar pupils. Tang Ao's gaze focused. Around the double-winged bone-winged tiger's body, hundreds of ice cones surrounded by purple lightning appeared. Following that, these ice cones whistled towards the double-winged bone-winged tiger. However, after being struck by the heavens, the double-winged bone-winged tiger was clearly prepared. At the instant the ice cones blasted out, the double-winged bone-winged tiger spread its wings and flew out. Following that, the double-winged bone-winged tiger opened its mouth, and a gigantic ball of light whizzed towards Tang Ao. Tang Ao's body flashed with golden light as the battle sage Bone Life Soul instantly possessed him. Following that, Tang Ao dodged the gigantic ball of light from the double-winged bone-winged tiger. After Tang Ao dodged the light sphere's momentum did not diminish as it bombarded a small hill. With a rumbling sound, the hill turned into a pile of rubble under the double-winged bone-winged tiger's attack. Seeing this, Tang Ao secretly marveled at the powerful attack power of the double-winged bone-winged tiger. At the moment, Tang Ao and the double-winged bone-winged tiger were both at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm. However, with Tang Ao's current attack power, it was still not easy for him to reach the same level as the double-winged bone-winged tiger. Chapter 488. On the side, Bai Wei was shocked to see Tang Ao and the bone-winged tiger suddenly fighting. However, as Tang Ao continued to suppress the tiger, Bai Wei was shocked. This double-winged bone-winged tiger was a beast at the 4th level of the Seas of Souls realm, but Tang Ao was able to beat it. Did it not mean that Tang Ao was even more powerful than the tiger? But how was this possible? Every warrior above 3rd level Sea of Souls realm was famous. If Tang Ao was really a 4th level Sea of Souls realm warrior, then Bai Wei would definitely know Tang Ao. However, Bai Wei was sure that he had never seen Tang Ao before, nor had he heard of Tang Ao's name. Although there were many opportunities in the underworld Emperor Mountain Range, it was impossible to create a 4th level Sea of Souls realm warrior out of nowhere. Is this person a disciple of one of the 8 sects in Xian Huang, or someone from one of the 5 families in Primordial Age? Bai Wei was watching Tang Ao and the Bone Tiger fight. Bai Wei was a disciple of one of the ancient families, the Bai family. However, he was different from Bai Shan. He was only a lowly disciple of a concubine. Even so, Bai Wei still collected information on the top disciples of the 8 great sects of Xian Huang and the 6 great clans of the ancients. Although it was not very clear, Bai Wei could still recognize these people if she met them. However, Bai Wei was looking at Tang Ao with confusion. Tang Ao was clearly not in the information he had collected. After entering the Underworld Emperor's secret realm for so long, everyone's strength had increased by leaps and bounds. Back then, the highest strength one could enter the Underworld Emperor's secret realm was the 9th level of the Yuan Martial Realm, and most people had just reached the 1st level of the Yuan Martial Realm. This was because not all the sects were as powerful as the 8 big sects and 6 families, who could easily raise disciples at the 8th or 9th level of the Yuan Martial Realm. It was already not easy for disciples from small schools to raise their cultivation to the 1st level of the Origin Realm before entering the Netherworld Emperor Mysterious Realm. Even though the Underworld Emperor's secret realm was firmly controlled by the Black-Yellow Continent's 8 major sects and the 6 great clans of the Primordial Era, it was open to all forces on the Black-Yellow Continent. The Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm opened once every 10,000 years. The opening of the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm was also the time when the various forces in the Black-Yellow Continent would be reshuffled. It was possible that a certain sect's disciple had obtained some sort of heaven-defying harvest in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, changing the fate of the entire sect. It wasn't that such a thing had never happened before. The current Dragon Transformation Pavilion's Pavilion Master had obtained a heaven-defying item during a training trip. That was how he had pushed the Dragon Transformation Pavilion, a small and unknown sect, to one of the mysterious yellow 8 great sects. There were also many heaven-defying treasures in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm. The most precious treasure in the Netherworld Emperor's mystic realm should be the Netherworld Emperor's inheritance that countless people yearned for. It was just that the Underworld Emperor's space had been open for so long, but no one had the slightest clue about the Underworld Emperor's inheritance. As Bai Wei was thinking, the battle between Tang Ao and the skeletal winged tiger was getting more and more intense. At that moment, Tang Ao was already extremely proficient in using the Sky Polarity Eye. However, Tang Ao didn't continue using it. Instead, he summoned the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul and fought the double-winged skeletal tiger. After getting used to it, Tang Ao realized that the Sky Polarity Eyes were very powerful. If Tang Ao had been able to use the Sky Polarity Eyes to its current level, Tang Ao would have been able to instantly kill the skeletal winged tiger. Chapter 489. In the beginning, the bone-winged tiger was still able to maintain its rationality when fighting with Tang Ao, but after fighting for so long, the beast's ferocious nature was gradually stimulated. The bone-winged tiger, which had been a bit conservative in the battle, now launched a fierce attack at Tang Ao without holding back. And Tang Ao, with the support of the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit, also had a majestic battle intent that shot into the sky, fighting with the bone-winged tiger. After the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit advanced to the 24th level, this was the 3rd time Tang Ao used the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit with full force. When Tang Ao used it for the first time, he encountered the Ink Octopus at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm, so the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit had been suppressed and could not use its full strength. And when Tang Ao used the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit for the 2nd time, he encountered the Silver-Tooth Snake's Purple Flame Dragon Armor Life Spirit from the 30th level. Although the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit was powerful, when facing the 30th level Purple Flame Dragon Armor Life Spirit, Tang Ao's Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit was still suppressed by the Silver-Tooth Snake's Purple Flame Dragon Armor Life Spirit. However, this time, when facing the Bone-Winged Tiger, the Battle Saint Bone Life Spirit finally showed the power it should have. At this moment, Tang Ao and the Bone-Winged Tiger were both at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm, so in close combat, the beast body of the Bone-Winged Tiger was being beaten back by Tang Ao. At this moment, the double-winged skeletal winged tiger was feeling very sullen. If it were to encounter Tang Ao in its peak state, the double-winged skeletal winged tiger might not be able to kill Tang Ao in an instant. However, it would definitely be able to slap Tang Ao to death after fighting him for so long. But now, in the battle between the bone-winged tiger and Tang Ao, the bone-winged tiger was gradually falling into a disadvantage. Before fighting with Tang Ao, the bone-winged tiger had lost half of its spirit power to Bai Wei and the others. After the battle with Tang Ao, the bone-winged bone tiger was beaten up badly by Tang Ao's sky polarity eyes. When Tang Ao really fought with the double-winged bone-winged tiger, the double-winged bone-winged tiger only had less than 30% of its spiritual power left. Although Tang Ao had consumed a lot of spiritual power to use the sky polar eyes just now, Tang Ao still had 50% of the spiritual power in his body to ensure that Tang Ao could fight the double-winged bone-winged tiger. In the face of such a situation, Tang Ao naturally became more and more courageous as he fought, while the bone-winged tiger had the intention to retreat. At this moment, the double-winged bone-winged tiger felt that the Tang Ao in front of it was different from the human martial artists it had devoured before. Not only was Tang Ao powerful, but he was also very difficult to deal with. If he was at his peak, the double-winged bone-winged tiger would definitely like a prey like Tang Ao. But now, the double-winged bone-winged tiger had begun to look for a way out. While Tang Ao was fighting with the double-winged bone-winged tiger, White Stone and the other two, who had originally fled, had returned. In front of White Stone and the other two stood a shadowy man who looked somewhat similar to the Bai Shan that Tang Ao had killed back then. His name was Bai Feng, the second most powerful disciple of the Bai family in this generation. Right now, he was at the fourth layer of the Sea of Souls realm. Among the 8 great sects of the Xianhuang continent, there were many geniuses in this generation. Bai clans Bai Zhanyuan and Xiahou clans Xiahou Linyuan could be ignored for now. Aside from these two people, Bai Feng was also very outstanding. When White Stone and the other two escaped, they went to get reinforcement. White Stone had originally wanted to ask Bai Zhanyuan for help. As a 4th layer spiritual ocean tier demonic beast, the double-winged bone-winged tiger was quite tempting to Bai Zhanyuan. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.